Peace, y'all. What's going on? What up? What up? Welcome to the live. Glad that you're here. Peace and power to the descendants of my ancient mother. What up? What up? Ashe. Please tab like. Let the algorithm know that you're getting something from the live as you listen along. When we get to 2K likes, I'm going to start letting people up here. So, brothers and sisters, tap like. Help get us on the right algorithm, too. If your lips are thicker than a Snicker, tap like. You know what I'm saying? If your hair defies gravity, tap like. If you could fall asleep in the sun for more than 3 hours. If you could fall asleep in the sun more than 3 hours and wake up looking better than before you fell asleep, tap like. If you can fall asleep in the sun for 3 hours without having to visit the emergency room, please tap like. What up? What up? On here a little early today. Whole lot of nopes in the audience. I see the Solon flag. Peace. Peace. I see the Solon flag, the Black American Heritage flag. I'm from the city where that was created. I'm from Elizabeth, New Jersey. I have a special story about that flag myself. It's kind of wild. Can brothers and sisters benefit from sharing culture with the people benefiting from the labor of their ancestors, the forced labor? Greetings, King. What's going on, Scrappy? Peace, Lotus. What up? What up? Grand Rising, wherever you at. Ashe, Ashe, oh. The words of our ancestors. What's going on? Are marriages between black people and thin Lipians ethical? Have you even asked yourself that? Is it ethical? Always, always gonna keep doing it. Always. Shout out to my African people at home and abroad. Africa for Africans. At home and abroad. We abroad right now. I'm in the United States, where I'm from. My tribe is the Solon African, or actually American African tribe. Big up to the American Africans. Revolutionary greetings from South Africa. One love, one love. Ashe to their ancestors, Steve Biko and Winnie Mandela. If you want to come up and share how you feel about the prompt, feel free to come on up. This is an educational space. We don't hold room for any sort of bigotry, isms, or phobias. You can leave that down in the comments. If If you want to come up and answer the questions, I will allow that. I just might have some questions to ask you in return. We're not debating. We're here to talk. We're here to learn from each other. Just getting over a cold, so excuse me, but sometimes I gotta clear my throat.
What's up, brother? Peace and blessings.
Peace. I'll show you. Give us your age, race, and pronouns if you got any.
My age, 27, Black African American.
All right.
Pronouns is Black.
All right. Talk to us.
So this post, like, what you asking, basically?
You
Like,
asking what? You asking what I'm asking?
The question, like, can Black and white people benefit from sharing culture? Like, what's the purpose of the question? Basically, I'm asking.
Some people believe culture is meant to be shared. Some people believe culture is meant to be gatekept. Is sharing Black culture with non-Black people, specifically the descendants of Europeans, benefit Black people?
Does it benefit us? Yes.
All right, tell me how.
Martin Luther King, he needed white people.
Martin Luther King needed white people
To help him, to help him get, you know what I'm saying, to help him. He can't do that. Like, we couldn't do that on our own. It needed good white people.
Why do you believe he needed them?
To basically get him into the rooms, getting him in certain doors and stuff like that.
He needed white people to get into the ancestral realm. We know that. They helped him do that. Peace, Detroit.
So you saying he didn't need them?
What do you say about a people that are oppressed that need their oppressor to liberate themselves? What sort of inferiority complex would you say about someone
You can't
that feels they would? Hold on. Hold on. What does it say about a person that needs their abuser to stop abuse? To liberate themselves, they need their abuser to help them. What type of inferiority complex are we talking about?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That's an inferiority complex if you feel like you can't liberate yourself, Black man.
So, you know about Hebrew Israelites?
None of that matter to me. We ain't talking
and
about
Gentiles?
religion. We ain't talking about religion.
It's not religion, it's a tribe.
Nah, that's religion.
Hebrew Israelites are the people
because
of Jesus.
every time I see Hebrew Israelites, they crack a King James version Bible open. So that's religion.
No, see, that's Jewish people. That's the new culture. I'm talking about our African culture. If you do your research and everything, is Hebrew, because we as a people, one of the first tribes, the 12
You ain't no Hebrew Israelite. Stop coming up here lying to me. I think I had you up here before, man. You ain't no Hebrew Israelite. Ain't no Hebrew Israelite gonna say what you just said. Ain't no Hebrew Israelite gonna say that. Y'all believe that's being unequally yoked. Y'all call them the Edomites. What's up with what's happening with the Hebrew Israelites? What's going on?
Hey, what's up?
Hi, Jack and Co. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Age, race. Age 49, race, Black, pronouns, he, him.
All right, talk to us.
Sometimes they, them, because it's me, myself, and I. Nevertheless, can Black people benefit from sharing culture? I think the American culture is the greatest evidence of Black people and white people sharing a culture and being benefiting from it. Now, how well the benefits are distributed, I think, is up for argument. But I think we have benefited from each other's cultures, because I say that to say, being an American is being the best. Being an American is better than being English, which is our founders, right? Being American is being better than being Russian. It's better than being French. Anywhere in the world, being American is the best. and it is the best because of those thuggish colonizers, because that's what they were. They were a bunch of thugs, thuggish colonizers, and their Jewish lord masters and their great abilities to create societies, right? Because they have been hands-on from the beginning in the creation of the American society, which is why they are the controllers of all of the natural resources thereof. And then I'll end with the second one. Are marriages between the two races ethical? At this point, it is, I'll say this. The biracial thing is now so mega, if you will. You can't even really disparage it anymore, because all mixed kids are not the same. You know, a black father, white mother, American, right, is completely different from, say, a Barack Obama creation, right, which is completely different from all of the different variations of mixed kids that you make. You can't look at a mixed kid anymore and just assume that that's a black father, white mother child. Because when you do that, you do yourself a great disservice, because you expect loyalty where loyalty is not. That said, I think I'm done. Yeah, so sharing cultures, I think we all have benefited from the shared culture. Hip hop being our greatest, I guess what we call export, right? Which, of course, again, comes back to how well we're benefiting from it. But it has grown from the slave plantation to this mega culture that it is today, right? In this national culture that it is today. So we have benefited greatly from each other. Interracial marriages, at this point, it don't even matter anymore, because we're all locked into the American dream, and that's not going anywhere anytime soon. So find love wherever you can. Good luck.
Damn. All right. Questions for you. How has white culture benefited black people?
Because we all now communicate, we'll just say on a communication level, because of the prolificness of the English language, right? And we all speak it. So we're now all able to communicate in one language. So simply by that shows a benefit, us being able to communicate, for one, because obviously, if you like to even say in Nigeria, they still have 300 different languages that nobody even understands, right? So in and of itself, us being able to speak English and communicate and get our points across is one way we have benefited.
Okay. And how did we, let's keep it, well, even in Nigeria, I guess this is true, but for now, let's talk in the context of black Americans, as I believe you're a black American, correct? You're an African American?
All day long, yes, sir.
All right. So, how did we learn English?
It was taught. I mean, it was forcibly taught, but taught.
Okay. All right. And why was it taught to African Americans when they first came to America, or were brought to America, rather?
Because at the end of the day, you have to be able to take commands, right? So you have to be able to have some type of understanding. So even if it's the most fundamental reason for teaching it, you still have to learn it.
So the language that we were forcibly learned, this is your words, so that we could take command from people that did not see our ancestors as human beings and force them to labor in the hot sun from sun up to sundown, benefited us because now we're able to speak in a language our oppressor recognizes.
Not necessarily that the oppressor recognizes. We all recognize. Like, have you ever read the remember the Tom Hanks movies? There's the books. What's that movie with the Catholics and running around? What's that book? What's that movie?
Da Vinci Code. Yes.
Okay. Right. When you read that book, the books, it's they call English la lingua pura, because it's so prolific and it's so profound. It ultimately ends up everywhere for the understanding of all people. That can't be a bad thing, being able to understand in any language, be it your, because at the end of the day, no matter what language you learn it from your elders. Elders ultimately come from oppressors. You know, there hasn't just been this great friendly exchange of power on any continent, no matter what tribe you were in, no matter what royal family you were in, no matter what existence you lived in, no matter however you got to where you got there by way of some type of oppressive regime that stuck, which is why you are where you are.
Oppressive regimes create society, in your opinion?
They have. When have they not? When have they not?
That tells me a lot of your understanding of history. A historian that I follow and study from, named Dr. John Henrik Clarke, who was the teacher of Malcolm X, says that when you begin your history with slavery, everything else seems like an improvement. And when you begin your history with Western history and the history of colonizers and oppressors, it does seem like we've greatly benefited, but we have to remember that there were societies and civilizations long before the Western idea of violence as a form of power was created. So I would even claim that the West is no society or no civilization because their civilizations were built on slavery and oppression, even predating the transatlantic slave trade. They've always been a warring people. They've been a people at war. Mm-hmm. African civilizations, for example, ancient Africans, and even Africans in the first millennium still created societies, but not through war, but through peace and trade. Europeans have never done this.
Okay, let me say this. Okay, now I'm well read, so I'm gonna go back a little further. Okay, no, I'm not gonna go back further. I'm gonna say this. What we have in America cannot be duplicated. It has never happened before. It will most likely never happen again. As they always say, or I guess the powers that be that I've read, right? They call America the last great empire. And I think I know we as black people or black Americans, whatever, we can do ourselves a great disservice by disassociating our abilities and our contributions to this great America. Because even though we were slaves or whatever we were, we still created things that were absolutely necessary and are still used today to keep this society afloat. We are a part of that. You cannot have this fantastic, wonderful country without the absolute contributions of the African American, the black, the color, whatever you want to call us, whatever we were, whatever. You cannot have it without us. So I am absolutely a part of whatever this is, right? Even the laws that were made, be they good, be they bad, be they evolved over time, it all hinges on our existence as a part of this nation from the inception through 2024 and beyond. I do not separate myself from any part of its greatness and or its atrocities, right? Because there are black men in the army today, in the military today, going to carry out the missions of the state, right? Are they any less individuals, right? Because we know what they're doing. They're carrying out the missions of the empire, right? They are part of this great.
There's a lot of context that if I keep letting you rant, we'll just get glazed over. You're performing brain surgery with a mallet, and There's a lot of context
Okay,
missing.
bring context. Bring context. Give me context. What am I
There's a
missing?
context to if I make breakfast for myself in the
No,
morning.
not an analogy. Not an analogy. Give me context. Give me context to the words I just said.
I think the context will come with the analogy. So
Okay.
if I make myself breakfast in the morning and I choose to make that breakfast, then that is my breakfast. If someone threatens to unalive my family and myself, if I don't make them breakfast and I make them breakfast, how foolish is it for me to stay once the threat of violence is no more and I no longer have to do anything for this person? How foolish is it for me to pull up a seat and try to eat this breakfast I was forced to make? You know, I understand that there is a nuance to the fact that we built this country, but just like you did earlier, when you were talking about the way African Americans speaking English, one of the least sophisticated languages, if you know anything about the Yoruba language and the language of our people in the continent, you know how sophisticated they are. It's the ignoring of the context in which we were taught these languages, the ignoring of the context in which we were brought to this country, and the ignoring of the context in which we even contributed to this country. Not to say that those contributions are not ours, but to say that we should have an entitlement to some kind of, I don't know, feeling some type of allegiance towards this ugly creation is, I feel misplaced. I feel like that's, it's more nuanced than you're making it. There's the context of slavery.
Well, see,
And yeah,
let me just say this.
Well, Jack,
Let me
Jack, hold
just
up.
say this. Let me say this last part right here.
Well,
When
Jack,
they
hold
were,
on, family. Jack, hold on one second, bro. Like, the problem is that, all right. This is why this is why I recommend that we all do as much history research as we possibly can, because, you know, while we're sitting here trying to shout, scream, and holler for how much, you know, all this land is so great, and we did all these things to build this land here, and we did this, that, and the third, and da 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 da. Oh my gosh, it's so fantastic! Woohoo! Yay, America! Yeah, I'm an American citizen. Yeah, the home of the free land of the. While we're sitting here doing all that, if you look through the actual documents of like old newspapers from the 1800s, you will actually see that they have advertisements to sell our African family. And then literally the very next page of that exact same newspaper, after the advertisements of selling our ancestors, they're immediately going into quoting the Declaration of Independence. And on several other pages, they go into quote the United States Constitution, word for word. Advertisements, hey, N-word boy being sold on this date. If the weather is a little bit bad, no worries. When the weather is fair again, we will host the sale again. Literally putting horses, putting livestock, cows, before as a list of things that will be sold. And then the very last on that list, N-word boy. I know this because I went to my local libraries and saw that shit.
No, we're not doubting that. But what's the point, though?
No,
What's
it's
the
not.
point?
No, listen. The point is that if we don't look into the historical context, then that means that we don't understand just how much our African ancestors had no desire to stay here. They had no desire to participate in any form of an American identity. They had no desire to remain in this godforsaken land. There was no them just, oh, I want to stay here. You know what? I came here to be an American citizen and I really enjoy this place here. No. They were brainwashed into not knowing the history.
Let me just say something.
Hold on. They were brainwashed into not knowing the history. So now fast forward to us as our generation, we don't know the history. And then we're sitting here thinking, oh, well, this place can work. This place could work for us. Well, if this place could work for us, then why is it that our African ancestors who were enslaved here felt the need to name several of their towns, free and enslaved African towns, off of African cities, African civilizations. Why? What would be the point?
We're not denying the horrors. We get you're rehashing the horrors. That's what Umar does. You're rehashing the horrors. We get it. It was horrible. We get that part.
You're not gonna interrupt me like this. This is not happening, because you're not understanding that I'm not rehashing the horrors. I'm rehashing our ancestors' desire to not be here in the first place, while you're sitting here trying to cape for how much we need to be.
Where have you? Okay, question. I have a question. I understand what you're saying, but this is now, where have you seen this lack of desire to be here, to go back to some great African empire? Yes, I understand you're going to say maybe you're going to say, well, Sierra Leone and whatever those little free nations were, whatever. Listen, that was part of the government's thing.
Have you been to your local library?
No, let me just say this one point, and you can have it.
You asked me a question.
There's one little point. There's one point, you can have it. I swear to God. This is my point. If the black people at the time, wherever they were, 1800s, 17, 15, 16, even 1900s, right? If you don't want to be here, and it's even 2024 right now, if you don't want to be here, if they didn't want to be here, right? Listen, you could go jumping, you could kill yourself, you could fight. Hold on, let me make this point. Hold on. No, you can in your life. Listen, you
on TikTok, you gotta say unalive. Can't say words like that.
Exactly. That's why I had to mute you, because you're not stopping. You're just going, thinking that you got to say specific types of TikTok friendly words. If you say certain words, risk shutting down it's a whole thing. But go ahead.
Okay, this is my point though. Watch. We get it that it was horrible. It's been horrible multiple times in multiple nations. I don't know why somehow black Americans think that for some reason it was supposed to be this reasonable transfer of Negroes to America with wonderful documents of honesty and fairness. That's not gonna happen. It
happened in Africa.
Hold on, let me make this point. It's not gonna happen. It didn't happen. It's 2024, and all of this, black people keep rehashing this same old narrative of how horrible it was. In the meantime, Indians are buying up the hotels. They're owning all of the Circle K's and whatever's in the hood. All
right, I'm not gonna lie. I'm sick and tired of hearing this nonsense. First and foremost, what's like this is because it's ridiculous. It's a clear example that you are literally visiting none of your local state's historical documents and archives. None. Because you up here talking about, oh, well, it's 2024 and all we got to do is just keep pushing forward. And why do we keep on hashing up the pat? You cannot move forward or have a hope of creating anything for yourself unless you fully understand the past. The reason why there is still a separation, or the reason why the dynamic between us and our oppressors is still literally, basically, word for word, bar for bar, status for status, exactly the same status, almost as if it was during during the European transatlantic slave trade, is because we keep on embracing that ridiculous mentality.
I have a quick question. Quick question for you. A really quick question, and I'm done. A quick question. If you had a genie in the bottle.
No, I'm nah, because at this point, what you keep doing,
Timothy.
I'm sorry, bro. Like
I know it's making me nauseous too, but in order for us to dispel these narratives, we got to hear them out. So let them talk.
So watch. I have one question, and I'm done. I watch this. If you could have a genie in the bottle tomorrow, right? Because black people seem to know so much about the world and so much about what makes everything float and go. So if you had a genie in the bottle, black American man, what would you do to make this world more fair for you? And I
make all recessive genetics from Europe disappear.
Yep.
So
that's really the answer to that question.
You asked a ridiculous question. There's no such thing as a genie in the bottle. You're asking a ridiculous question, so you get what?
Well, no. My question is because you know so much about what's perfect and how the perfect ways are. The question is, since you know that obviously nobody else seems to know, since you know, my question is to you. If you could have your way tomorrow, what would you do? Would you give reparations? Would you move? Would you give?
Bro, the
Hold on,
problem
watch
is
this.
that
Would you give
no,
land away? Would
you're
you
not stopping.
give a business?
You're not stopping. All right, listen. You're all right. The problem is that you think that it's because we think that we know. Oh, we just know all things, and you just.
I think you got a call. Hey, keep tapping like, y'all. We got to get to 20K. Keep tapping like. I got some more people who want to come up here. If you want to come up and answer the questions, feel free. We're going to ask you some questions back. We want to have a conversation. We don't want to have an argument, but there may be some conflicting opinions. Yeah, I'll bring you up, Samuel. Jack and Co., you were going to ask a question.
This is my question. So if the genie in the bottle was for me, right? And they said, well, Mr. Jack and Coke, what would you do tomorrow to make the world more equal? What do you think that you're owed to make the world more equal for your people? What do you think someone could give you to make the world more equal for you and your people, right? My answer to that, right, is give me at least what you have given the Native Americans, land, right? That's all we want.
How did that work out for them?
Give us our own communities, and then watch this, And remember this, remember this. Like the Native Americans, when my request is for land, remember? Like the Native Americans who we've been sitting on the side of for now 400 or 500 years, we see that the reservations, which are right next to these major cities, are still desolate lands of nothingness. So even in my request for land, are we not still saying, like the Native Americans would say, now y'all gave us land. Now, could you send some white people over here to put our plumbing together, to start building apartments, to start building gas stations? Because even though we are right next to you people building these major metropolises, we, the Native American people, have still not figured out how to duplicate that 1 block away.
Well, the Native Americans had the land that was originally theirs stolen from colonizers. In that case, I do want my land back, but my land is not in America. I want the colonizers off of my land, which was stolen, and that would be in the continent of Africa.
Remember, when the colonizers leave, they're going to do us like the French. They're going to pour cement in all the canals. They're going to destroy everything that made this society go. So this is my question. When these colonizers leave, and they destroy the land like they did the French, like the French did to the people in Africa, right? What are we going to do? Are we going to do like the people in Africa?
Yeah,
and
we'll do
nothing because they've done nothing.
They haven't.
No, they haven't.
No, they haven't. This is what I'm saying. There's a fundamental lack of information coming from you, and I wish I could play videos and play lectures and play
well, no, it's a question
audiobooks. No, I mean, if you want present day 2024 proof, look at Ibrahim Traore. Look at what's going on in the alliance of the Sahel states. Big up to the Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso brothers and sisters. They've taken their land back from France and created the world's fourth fastest growing economy. They've reclaimed the gold mines in their lands. They've reclaimed the uranium mines. They're building nuclear energy and farmlands. So I've seen the video too. It's not a video. It's an entire movement.
He just came to power. So what you're saying is something that would take years to accomplish.
Jack, you're not paying attention to historically what has happened over the past few decades. Like, bro, even during the European transatlantic slave trade, see, this is the reason why researching the history outside of the nonsense and the propaganda that they keep on trying to force feed us is critical, because if you researched how many slave rebellions are actually taking place, you would find out that just by our African ancestors rebelling on the journey from West Africa over to the Americas, just from them rebelling on that, even if those rebellions weren't successful, it literally put our oppressors in a financial deficit, so much so to the point that they had no choice but to extend additional financial resources to try to create more barricades, more security measures to prevent those rebellions from happening. And what we don't understand, because we don't understand economics, is that just by them doing that, it prevented the enslavers from capturing additional people, because instead of putting those resources towards capturing our African family, they had to put it towards reinforcing their slave ships. Like,
absolutely.
Listen,
like,
no, and
they
listen,
showed
Shout to the
again,
Igbo brothers and sisters and the brothers and
Again.
sisters of Nigeria and Jamaica.
we appreciate the historical context, but remember, my phone is showing me that them folks are over there drowning in the Mediterranean.
That's what the white man has taught you, and that's what I'm saying. Everything you've regurgitated on this live has been a westernized perspective of history, and even down to when you said civilizations are created through violence, and there's no smooth path to creating a society. That's a Eurocentric idea. So I think
Where is one place that these black people are thriving so well and not escaping in mass?
Dude, okay, what do you think? Okay, do you think that the European transatlantic slave trade, the Arab slave trade, the colonization of Africa, do you think that that was like somehow magically did amazing, wonderful things for Africa? Do you really think that people?
You have to ask the straight.
But listen, do you really think that people have the ability to thrive when 60 to 200 million of them are being mass unalived or snatched out of their homelands? From between the year 700 AD all the way up to today. The Arab slave trade is still happening today. The European transatlantic slave trade supposedly ended in 1866, but that's a damn lie, because they still had ships that were traveling back and forth. Like, this is nonsense. What are you talking about? You're trying to cape for things that did not historically happen because you're embracing a concept. You're embracing a version of history that has been disproven dozens of, if not hundreds of times. And the problem is that you're thinking that what it is that you're seeing through your phone is somehow the truth, when in reality, you're not paying attention to propaganda. You're not paying attention to psychological manipulation, which is tactics that they very much so do use, especially with advertising. Hence the reason why they advertise. Hence the reason why advertisement companies spend billions of dollars or millions of dollars in order to study these things, so they can figure out ways to best manipulate you into purchasing their products.
Let me just say this, and I gotta go. I gotta get back to work. Let me just say this:
here we go.
Black men, the straight ones, y'all are wonderful at this historical lesson. Y'all give it better than anybody on earth. But the other day on my phone, I just saw a white man in a stadium, right? It was a stadium. Hold on, let me just say this piece and I'm out. And he was in a stadium full of his people. And what he said is, black people, you don't have to tell us anything about racism or racist or whatever anything. He said, we own that. We have written books on it. You don't have to give us any more information on what we are doing to you people. And what I...
Bro, you're talking about a stand-up comedian.
Just finish this.
That's your source?
Listen, I appreciate the historical context. That's all Umar does, is run around town telling everybody the historical context. That's all.
Umar Johnson.
And all you do is run around ignoring it. Listen, man, we going to move on, man. It's not about history. It's about what's happening today. If what happened in history is still happening today, then it ain't the past. It's the present. Let's go to the next guest. Samuel, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
29, white male.
All right. He, she, or they. Choose one.
I don't know. That whole announcing your pronouns is a white liberal thing that y'all took. So I'm a male.
Well, it's an English thing, and you forced us to learn it. So if you don't know your damn language, but you're going to force other people to speak it, then I'm going to have to say you can't be on the live. Got to give us your he, she, or they. Choose one.
All right, I'm a he, but y'all took that from the white liberals.
And we giving it right back to you.
All right, so real quick. So right now, America's about 30% black, then 70+% white. So my whole thing, if it was vice versa, if it was switched, and I knew that there was this other land with all white people, I'd be there in a heartbeat, because as much as y'all don't want to live around me, we also don't want to live around you. That's just the way it is. Do you agree?
I don't even know what he's talking about. Does
Yeah,
anybody know what this honky talking about?
I mean, apparently he doesn't understand that, Europe is his own land.
That's what I'm saying. So Africa is your own land. Your own land. It's like a boat ride away. It's freaking. You can just go down there in a heartbeat. You also got this other tropical island called Jamaica, beautiful island, where there's like a whole island just full of white people, and I live in places all black people. I'd be at an island in a heartbeat.
Samuel, where do you live now? Like, well, not like a specifics, but country. What country you live in now?
United States.
Okay, so why don't you go back to where you came from? Why are you here?
Because I live in a country that's predominantly white.
Okay, but how did it become?
No, it's not. That's a lie.
It is predominantly white.
No, it's not. That's a lie.
There's more white people here than any other race as of right now.
No, white people make up 40% of the country.
No, that's not true at all.
Yeah, it is.
No.
Yes, it is.
No,
About 40%. About 40% claim white and no other race.
You have to agree to disagree. So if
It's
I
not
live
agree
somewhere,
to disagree. It's a fact.
No, if I live somewhere that was
all
13,
the other quote unquote minorities make up a majority.
okay, so if I lived somewhere that was 13% white and then everyone else 40+% black, I wouldn't want to live there anymore at all.
Again, Samuel, you're ignoring the.
So
simple-
he just admitted he's a racist, right?
No, I'm doing so basically.
Why wouldn't you want to live there?
No, that's not how it works. If you
Yes, it
don't, a lot of blacks don't want to live around whites, and a lot of us don't want to live around you. That's just the nature of the beast. It's facts.
Why? Where did you hear that? Where?
You just said that you wish that all white people would disappear.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I said all. I wish. I said. He said if you had a genie that could make one wish.
You said you want all recessive gene Europeans.
Let me finish. So he asked the question. He said, if you had a genie that could make one wish to benefit black people or whatever, how he phrased it, he said, what would you do? I said, I'd wish that all recessive genetics disappear from Europe. So that would mean that the recessive genetics of Europeans would be replaced with dominant genetics, or dominant genetic traits, physical phenotypes and such of
a genocide is what you wish for.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't say that. I said disappear. I didn't say
that's a genocide.
No, genocide is an active military intervention. I said disappear, as in Vamoosh, which was much different.
Okay, so
I didn't say the people would be unalived. Just said the recessive.
Okay, so if I wish for all dark melanated people to disappear, is that racism?
So then, Samuel, that actually kind of speaks to how you subconsciously feel, like inferiority complex, because it's like, all right, if Brother just specifically said that he wishes that the recessive genetics would disappear, and then you automatically default that to mass unaliving. I mean, what does that say about how you subconsciously feel about your own people?
Okay. So, all right. Very simple. So if I want melanated people to all disappear, how would you think about that? Like, what would you think about that?
Well, I mean, technically speaking, you wouldn't exist if all melanated people disappear.
No, I'm talking about right now. Right now.
Yeah, he doesn't know how. Trust me, Timothy, he doesn't know how that works.
No, come on, dude. See, now you're trying to dodge the whole question.
Nah, you don't know how biology works.
Right now, if I want all melanated people to disappear.
There has never been a time in human history where there's never been a time in human history where black people were not on this planet. If that ever were the case, you would all be, what you're doing now a lot, and that's why the birth rate is declining among those people. But it'd be a lot of cousin love, you know what I'm saying? And then eventually you would disappear.
But first of all the whites disappeared, I mean, I don't know who's going to switch out the satellites for your internet that you use. You don't really have that whole.
Wow, we need them. We need them for satellites, even though the GPS and internet was created by black people.
GPS was invented by white people.
No, it wasn't.
Dude, the glasses,
no, it wasn't. It was a black woman that created the GPS, bro. Yes, it was.
Even the glasses and the headphones you have on right now are invented by white people.
Yo, that's hilarious.
And the screen that you use, the touch screen that you use every day, and the keyboard.
They were not invented by white people. No, they weren't. The phone that you're holding in your hand was created with resources from the Congo. So nothing white people have created has been solely because of white people. It's always been on the backs of other people, and they just take the credit.
No, we took what's called, I think it's called cobalt from Africa that y'all don't know how to use anyway.
We took,
cell phones. You didn't know how to use it. So first of all, if you're trying to figure out who's superior, I mean, who's dominating the planet right now? Is it y'all? No, hell no.
So
We knew
having
how
a
not to
culture,
pollute the whole planet
Hey,
and you know, destroy the lives of
here's the
communities
thing
and
though.
children.
If any other country or race went to war with y'all be destroyed. Like Asians going to war with a black country or
so
Arabs,
Samuel,
y'all get
I have a
destroyed.
question. Samuel, I have a question.
Y'all get destroyed.
Are you
That's already
proud?
happened, and we're still here.
I know, but y'all got dominated. Y'all are the least advanced and the most conquered people on the planet. Are you not? Are you not the most
So,
conquered?
If
so
if
are you
if
the
we're
most advanced?
if we're the this inferior, uneducated people group, then why are we in America in the first place? Why did the early Americans go get this inferior people to build their country?
I'll tell you why. As soon as the Europeans went over to America, they had to actually outdo Europe immediately before they got taken over. So how do you take? So what do? You get as much free help as possible. You got to build America up. That way, the Europeans can't come back and take it over because they already threatened to.
I don't think that made sense.
Yes, yes, we had
It
to turn
doesn't
we
make
had to
any
turn
sense.
America into a world superpower within 500 years, or else the English was going to come back and take us over. So what do? The
You do
Africans were
realize that
selling people like clockwork. They're selling to the Europeans, the Americans, to Arabs, to the Brazilians. They sold it to everybody.
that's
They
And
kind of
that's
not
it's
historically accurate
interesting that
at all.
someone as racist as him would say that. I also want to make sure that black people understand when we use the Africans sold other Africans to take accountability off of the Europeans that created the conditions to make people profitable, and the Europeans that originally started kidnapping people and started a fake arms race between tribes to create the transatlantic slave trade. When we use that narrative, we sound like our own oppressor. So I think it was actually good that that the last Chalk Child came up here and said that. I want African Americans to understand that there is a context. If Africans were selling Africans, the way that they try to phrase it, then why is it that we don't have any documentation of African ships going to Europe with, hey, here's my sisters and my cousins and my brothers, and you want some of them? Like, how come it was always the Europeans coming to Africa to buy Africans? How come it wasn't? Because when I'm selling something, I'm knocking on your door, and Girl Scout cookies, they knock on your door because they're selling something, right? So the seller usually initiates the sale, and then that's how you would initiate the trade. So why is it that the Europeans came knocking? So let's not use that faulty reasoning when we're talking about African history. I'm going to keep bringing people up. If y'all keep tapping like, we are slacking on the likes. We got over 300 people in here. Tap like, tap like, tap like. Let's hear from an African brother or sister. I'm not sure who this is, but I see the South African flag. Oh, they disappeared. All right, they're not coming up. Keep tapping like. If your lips are thicker than a Snicker, you got a big forehead, you wear a bonnet to bed. If you use coconut oil ever in your life as skin care, hair care, and to cook food, then we need you to tap like. If you know marshmallows go on top of yams, brothers and sisters, tap like and get us on the right algorithm. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We need to get to 30K likes, so keep going. Appreciate you.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead, brother.
yeah, no, I just wanted to reiterate your point that you made earlier. Like they they do very much so use that as a method to try to come into other African spaces and further create dissension and divide. Like but also at the same time, how YT supremacists operate is that they pride themselves on attempting to emotionally manipulate us as African people. So they use those falsifications of history and they push that as a narrative. And then what happens is that when we say it in other spaces, because all we've been indoctrinated by is by Eurocentric concepts of what is or is not accurate. And again, the entirety of their constructs or the entirety of what they make is built off of deceit. Yeah, they use it to attempt to create more destruction in other spaces. So
And division.
Yep, and
And
division.
division. Yeah.
Because like, there's more context behind all of that. Like, if somebody holds a big pew pew at you and your kingdom and tells you you need to give me a tribute of 200 people, otherwise you're going to just take the 200 people from you, then they see the destruction that has already been laid waste to multiple civilizations and kingdoms and people groups be from this exact same dealings with these demographic of people. They already know a full intimate understanding of what's going on with the Arab slave trade. Like, you mean to tell me that it would be intelligent for this king to not, like, it's just, there's way more context behind it. There's not just a, oh, well, we were just sitting there and we just decided. No.
Right, as if the transatlantic slave trade, if it never happened, we would just have Africans lined up on the shores of Africa saying, "Man, we're just waiting for a seller, but we're going to sell you guys. We're just waiting for someone to come and get you. We don't know. We're going to pitch it to a few different races and see who comes to get you." No, that's not how that went down. But also, big shout out to Poetic Logic. Appreciate you, brother, for the Panther Paws. I forgot to give a big up to Poetic Logic for the Panther Paws. Ashe. All right. Violet, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
I'm 19, white, and she, her. I just had a clarification question. Does that mean that you don't...
I don't answer questions.
No, it's just pertaining to what you have up here. Like, does that mean that you don't believe in interracial marriage?
Do you?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. And define what you mean by believing in it.
I mean, some people are against interracial relationships in general.
Okay. And if black people were against interracial relationships, why do you think that would be?
I don't really think that... I think it's just people in general, not specifically black or white or Asian or whoever.
So you think black and white people view race the same in interracial relationships?
Not always. I mean,
not always. Okay, when do they have the same point of view?
No, they don't, and I can say that from experience that they don't.
Okay, so when a white person says they disagree with the idea of white people marrying a black person or their daughter marrying a black man or something like that, why do you think they say it?
Again, from experience, I have been told that by my father, actually. I think that they say it in a way of just, he came from a place of racism because he doesn't believe that races should mix, which I think is stupid, but...
Why doesn't he believe that? Why would he choose to believe in racism?
I personally couldn't tell you. I don't talk to him anymore.
Well, that's not healthy.
No, but I mean, it wasn't really healthy talking to him either, so.
Why not?
I mean, you heard me when I just said that he was racist towards my relationship, and I wasn't okay with that, so I left.
Are you racist?
I don't consider myself, no.
Why not?
What do you mean, why not, I think?
You said your father was racist, so why aren't you racist?
Just because he is doesn't mean I would be.
Okay, so then why aren't you racist? When did you make the choice to not follow in his footsteps?
It was never a choice. I always knew that him being racist was wrong ever since I was little.
So why did you think your father was wrong?
Because it's not okay to dislike somebody just because of their skin color.
And what gave you that idea?
I just knew. Like, you don't dislike someone for something that they can't control or something that has nothing to do with, like, opinionated things or something that they can decide or can control. It's just what it is. Like, there's no reason to be hateful to another person over something like that. It's just...
If there's no reason to do it, why do so many white people do it?
I guess I kind of agree with a lot of the comments, is because like it's something that like a lot of people grow into, like their families, and like how you said, well, why aren't you like that? But like a lot of it, from what I see when people are racist, it's in like a lot of families, like parents growing up telling children, like, but you kind of like, that's why.
I'm. All right. Let me explain something to you, to the audience, real quick. Whenever a white person tells me, just cause, it feels a lot like cause I said so.
That's not what I meant. Don't twist what I'm saying.
That's how it sounds to me. If someone can't tell me
I don't think there's a real reason
why they're not,
for anybody.
if I'm sorry,
I don't think there should be any real logical reason that anybody should be racist.
but if it's so illogical, why do so many white people for hundreds of years, millions and millions and millions, there are 200 million in the United States, and I have yet to see a white anti-racist party, a white anti-racist coalition of white people living separately from the racist white people and creating their own town or village and coming together to dismantle racism. In millions of years, we've never seen this. Why is it that so many people do something so illogical across the world? If there's no benefit, there's no reason, there's no logic in their minds behind it, why do they do it? I'm asking the right person because you're an anti-racist white person. So you've obviously done the work and you've obviously experienced enough racist white people that I may never experience. So I'm asking you to enlighten us. That's the best thing you could do as a white person, is explain the thinking of your people to people that may be affected by it negatively, but never hear.
It's not something I could understand as to why they choose to be so hateful. It's not something I've ever understood. It's just like, I can't tell you why they are that way. I've tried to be like, hey, this is wrong. And I did do that. And I was just told that me thinking that didn't matter. So.
Okay.
But that was all. I just had that question.
And hope you have a great rest of your day, Violet.
Have a good day.
Nadaros, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
All right, I'm 35, male, he, him,
Your race.
white.
All right, talk to us.
Okay, so I just wanted to jump on because I heard you mention something about like why do white people not form like a coalition basically against racism? And I can tell you unequivocally, I don't even think I'm saying that right, but that there's no way for me to bring someone into a circle that doesn't want to be there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So you admit that white people don't want anti-racism. That's not something on their to-do list.
I mean, personally, in my case, I would love to see everybody get along in a non-racist format, but I just don't think it's realistic right now based on the personalities and the traits that some white people, and not just white people, but black people have as well.
Black people have what?
Tendency to be either racist or I forget what that other term is. Not racist, but
Okay. So in the counter-racist, anti-racist fashion, I'm going to list, and this is the 10 areas of people activity by Dr. Neely Fuller Jr., the man who wrote the book on racism, basically, on anti-racism, rather.
okay.
So there are 10 ways in which people group A and people group B can interact with each other. Whenever they come into contact, form social pact, there's 10 different ways they can interact. And you tell me which one black racism has adversely affected white people in. So I'm going to start with the first one.
Hold on. Before you continue, I'm not trying to say that you guys. Okay, let me rephrase this. Okay, what I was trying to get at was like prejudice and or racism. Okay, that was the other comment I had. I don't believe that
Define
there's
prejudice.
as in you have a view toward white people that you may or may not want to be associated or around them due to the past or current situations that you've encountered with white people.
Okay, that's not the definition of prejudice. I'll give you the definition on Google. A preconceived notion not based in reason or experience. So that's a preconceived notion not based in reason or experience.
Okay.
So now, again, I'll list the 10 areas of people activity, and let's see which one black people and their racism has adversely affected the white community. In the area of education, do black people and their racism oppress white people in education?
Are you asking me if black people oppress white people in education?
That's correct. Is there anywhere in Europe or America where white people have their history being taught to them by books and languages written in African languages and telling stories where Africans once dominated Europeans and forcing them to take IQ tests about African culture?
Personally, I've never heard of that.
All right. Does the reverse happen? Do white people have an advantage when it comes to education?
I wouldn't say advantage, but when you said that white people write history books about black people and black history that maybe we aren't qualified to be writing, that does happen.
Ding, ding, ding. That's an advantage. All right. So, entertainment.
Do white people have an advantage over black people in entertainment?
Mm-hmm.
That one I would have to disagree with. I feel like black culture is very strong, and you guys have a big white audience, honestly, when it comes to entertainment purposes.
Okay. And which is more of a esteemed award, the Oscars or the BET Awards?
Now that one I can't really say, right? Because
would you rather have a Grammy or a Source Award?
I'm gonna be really realistic here. I don't follow that kind of stuff. So I personally, if I was a black man,
the Oscars are the most prestigious award in modern society.
But from what I've heard, are they really on the right path as far as doing the right things for the right people?
Was Oscar a black man?
I have no idea. That's what I'm saying. I don't know about this kind of stuff. You're talking to the wrong person when it comes to awards.
I hate it when y'all are willfully obtuse. Can you name a record label or distribution company in music that is owned and operated and dominated by black people and creates music that black people benefit from?
Say that question one more time, just so I understand it correctly.
When you talk about the music industry, and I said I was going to introduce you to the CEO of Universal Music, do you believe that to be a black man or a white man?
I believe there's a lot of white men in charge of those labels, but I do know that.
There's the advantage. All right. We're going to move on because I know.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. So education, entertainment, economics. Do black people have an advantage in economics by which they can oppress white people?
I mean, I feel like everybody in America has equal financial opportunity. if you push yourself in the right areas.
Okay,
There's
so
plenty of
equal
people.
economic opportunity should mean equal opportunity at leadership. What industry is owned, operated, controlled? I'll put it another way. In which industry do black people control the means for production?
Hold on one second. Somebody said black people should own their music in the chat, and I just want to say that everybody should own their own music.
Please
If you make
don't
music,
answer comments.
okay. What
Because
were you saying now?
they don't own their music. Because even when that music is distributed on TikTok and other social media sites, the owner of these social media sites are white people. But anyway, in economics, what industry is what industry has the means of production owned and dominated by black people? What industry? Name any industry that you think black people have a monopoly in.
That doesn't quite define whether or not there's equal economics.
Yes, it
or
does, because
socioeconomic
equal means
opportunities.
that we see equal employment, and it means we see equal leadership among the races, because everything is equal now. So equal, right? Even if it's equal to the amount of people that represent the population, right? Like, you know, black people make up 15% of the population, so black people should make up 15% of the leaderships in the current economy. So Fortune 500 companies.
Are we sure
where
that that's
can,
not the? Are we sure that that's not the case right now? I haven't looked up those numbers, to be honest with you.
well, can you name any industries in which white people are in control of the economy?
No, like I don't follow that kind of stuff. It'd be something I'd have to research. To be
Have you
honest, I
never
don't
heard of
know.
Elon Musk? Have you never heard of Mark Zuckerberg? Have you never heard of Warren Buffett? Have you never heard of
Yes,
like?
I've heard of those people.
Okay,
So
all
are
right.
you
So you
saying that
can you
because? Are you
so
saying
can
that
you name
because
any industry leaders that are black?
like in the same level as like Elon or Warren Buffett or anything like that?
As far as economics, it's really simple. I don't see what's so
I
complicated about this. People in the comments have answered multiple different ways, man. Like I don't know what's so confusing.
well, I think it's not. There's nothing confusing about it. It's like you're trying to talk me into a corner, and it's not
He
positive.
feels attacked, y'all. Don't
It's
start
not a
crying on me.
positive, bro. Nobody's crying. See,
Nah,
like you can't, like
I
you
know
can't,
something y'all
see,
do.
what if I was
You're
acting
backing
the same
me
way towards
into
you?
a corner. I'm asking you. I'm asking you to qualify and substantiate your
No, but
own
you're
claims.
but you're trying to act
You
like I'm
said
stupid because I'm
that
not, and then you're talking
you
over
said
me. So what's the point of
this is my live. I'll talk over you if I want. You said the economy is equal.
Has
You
equal
said
opportunity
equal
for both
opportunity.
people.
So why is it that we, quote
Okay, so
unquote,
let me-
have equal opportunity, but the highest unemployment rates are in our community? How come is it that we have equal opportunity, but you can't name a black Warren Buffett?
So tell me why that is though. Why is that not a thing? Is it because white people are
All right.
blocking black
So
people?
you just said it's not a thing. I'm going to move on. That was my only question. Is it a thing? Next question.
No, because
labor.
economic. It's equal.
Next
equal
question.
economic
Next
opportunity.
question. Labor is number 4. Labor. As far as controlling the means of production for hiring and firing, do black people dominate?
Yeah, again, I don't follow the trends for labor.
But you
in
said
the
black
workforce.
people were racist. I'm trying to ask you to substantiate how black racism affects white people in a negative way. I'm waiting to see where you're talking about black people are racist. Can you explain?
Let me explain my thought process, okay? So you understand where I'm coming from. Because I'm not talking. Let me take care of my baby real quick. Okay, because I'm not coming from a place of racism or hate. That doesn't have a place in my
Racism
system.
and hate are two different things, and they have nothing to do with each other.
And I said racism or hate for a reason. I meant what I said.
Then why are you bringing up hate? We're not talking about emotions. It's just business.
Here, I'll get to my point in just a second. Okay, so when I tell you that black people and white people have equal economic opportunity, okay, I'm saying that if you and I were to go for the same opportunities, we could both achieve those opportunities if we worked in the correct fashion to do so. That's what I'm saying. I don't
Okay,
feel like I
so
have an advantage over you as a white man,
so Google
or
this.
you have an
Google
advantage over me as a black
just
man.
Google this for me. The 10 richest people in the world, and tell me if you see a black man. Since everything is so equal, there should be evidence of equality in the top people that run shit. Like, I don't see how you're missing the point, bro. I don't see how you're missing the point. You're being willfully obtuse. If everything is equal, there should be an equal representation of black people in charge, in leadership. What are we talking about?
So you're telling me that there's not 15% of black people in power or leadership in the entire United States?
Google the 10, 1-0. Some of y'all don't know your numbers. 10 people, TEN, most rich, wealthiest, if you want to put it that way, 10 wealthiest people in the world.
Okay, but why are they that wealthy? Where did their wealth come from? Did they come from being white and powerful, or did they come from generations of wealth that was passed down to them, the people that are the richest in the nation right now?
All right, so he just admitted number 4. We just did it. He took a little work, but he got there, man. Hey, man, you doing some work today, man. So number 4, white people have an advantage because of slavery. You just admitted it, bro. Don't play with me. You just said it. Because of generational wealth that has been disrupted by slavery. You know that white people have an advantage. You just admitted it. Yo,
I didn't say anything about slavery.
All right.
You realize that
You just admitted it, bro. You just said they had an advantage. I'm moving on to the next area of people activity. We got labor, then we have law. Two black people oppress white people in the 5th area of people activity, law. Let's move on, bro. I'm not here to change your mind. I just want to get you to admit this.
It's not about changing my mind.
Bro. Come on, man. Let's keep going. Number 5.
I'm going to try to be polite here. I'm going to ask you one more time, okay?
Oh, my God.
I'm not going to continue to answer questions if you're going to keep putting words in my mouth.
All right.
I didn't say that.
If you ain't going to answer questions, then don't come up here, man. Like, y'all are up here to answer questions. If you come up here, you're coming up here to answer questions, y'all. That's the point of the live. See the questions up here? You coming up here to answer questions. If you don't want to answer questions, then I'm buck breaking. You got to go. All right. Let's go to... Y'all keep tapping like, man. We almost at 50K. Keep tapping like. Send some gifts. Send a little rose or something. Let the algorithm know that you're getting some value from the live so we can stay on the FYP page. I appreciate the brothers and sisters sharing the live with other brothers and sisters so we on the right algorithm for people that need to hear this content. And peace. Life is a beach. What's good, sister? Hashtag give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
46, black, him.
All right, talk to us.
Man, this is crazy, bro. I'm sitting here listening to this, man, and I got to applaud you, bro. I really have to applaud you. Like, I don't have the thing to do applause, bro, but I have to applaud you because seriously, man, bro, it's amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna play along for a second. Mm-hmm. Can people benefit from sharing cultures? Benefit. That's the key word for me. Mm-hmm. Right? I don't think people of color benefit from sharing the cultures of people of non-color or
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we benefit, and this is why I don't believe that. When we talk about what American culture is, you have to be honest. And American culture is manipulation, theft, and unaliving and things like that, right? That's American culture. And when people don't want to admit that, you're lying to yourself, because that's what American culture, everybody who has become something has done one of those things in America. I mean, even if it's us, the most famous people that we know in most parts are going to appear on those lists of those things, whether there's a manipulation. I mean, I'll add one more thing to that list, and I will say, what's the word I'm looking for? Where you decide to just completely separate yourself from from this group of people.
Separation? I don't know.
No,
Separate,
I don't know. My words.
Apartheid?
No, no. Like, okay, I'm black, but then I say I don't want to be part of black culture.
Disassociate?
Well, I guess disassociate would be the closest word, but there's divest. There we go.
Divest, okay.
Right. So, you know, even the people who have completely decided to divest, and we have some examples, or to completely allow themselves to be socialized for the, like, I mean, look at some of our athletes, Dennis Rodman, even LeBron James, right? Dennis Rodman grew up in a YT household. That's where he grew up. LeBron James basically was reared by YT people. You can check it. You can fact check that.
Yeah.
Camps, summers, weeks, years of all of that stuff. We watch stories over and over again where that becomes the trope. You can't be successful, or the most successful people of color are always seemingly reared by YT people, and that's why they are wealthy and such, right? As if we didn't have the capacity to do it with our own, with our own selves and abilities. As if we just did, like we didn't invent anything. Like, even in the lowliest times, the cotton gin, the street lights, heart surgery. You know what I'm saying? Like even in the lowliest of times, like we have no autodidactic skills to where we cannot create, innovate, and invent, things. And that's the trope. That's the, we have to be injected with quote unquote other people's culture in order to be great. I mean, you look at it socially, and who's the most beautiful girl? The girl who looks biracial. You understand what I'm saying? The one with the tight curly hair, or the straight hair, or the different color hair or eyes, right? Not like it's like if you could just drift away for just this section, just drift away. She's completely dark, but let's give her light blue eyes.
Yeah, they do that in movies a lot. If you notice, in a lot of like sci-fi movies, they'll have a black person with like glowing eyes, or a Game of Thrones, they all got blonde hair. Something gotta, we can't just be black.
It has to go. I mean, even if it's dreadlocks, it'll be all blonde dreadlocks.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like on
put that yarn in their hair.
Yeah, right. It's like what it is. I mean, it's just across the board. So I'm gonna go with that first question. I'm gonna say, is that because they're Targaryen? That's funny. You're funny. I'm gonna say that no matter what, people of color do not benefit from other people's culture. In fact, it strains, dilutes, and robs, even with a benefit of success or whatever, the culture that was there originally.
Success is determined by the oppressor.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it's we had someone up here earlier that was kind of like trying to use success as a reason why it's beneficial, but the success is only allowed by the oppressor once you align with their power structure.
Bro,
so
look, it's so funny that, like, we could talk about like the 1950s, 1960s, right? Black people were very successful in this country, right? And the main part of their success was their family structures, right? That was the main part of their success. Now, We're looking at people saying you're not successful until you have a family structure. When we had it prior to, to having economic, expansion or whatever. And that's the crazy thing, right? Like we were the highest of all people.
Yep, 85%.
Percentage wise, we were the ones that
The most married.
We had the most families. We had the most families, and we were the most communal. And that's what we ignore. And that now is something that we see as success, right? Which is crazy. Okay, so our marriages between people ethical. I'm a little bit. Can you elaborate on that question? Are marriages between people all different races?
Yeah, black and white. So ethics being when it relates to not doing harm to people or organizations. So mitigating harm.
I'm going to give you, okay, so I was a college athlete, right? And I want to tell you that a lot of agents, when you had the potential to become a pro athlete, when you were in college, a lot of agents would have you chaperone to certain parties where.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Oh, they would have you chaperoned by YT girls.
Crazy.
Or by racially ambiguous girls. That was a regular thing, bro.
Damn.
To make you more marketable to that team, right? That meant that you were agreeable and coachable. That's what that meant, right? Another thing is that when for some of my friends who did go to the NFL or the NBA or even made it to the U.S. wrestling team. We had a guy make it to the U.S. wrestling team, right? They also did a thing to where they would tell us privately, and I'm putting this out there, that if you want to protect your money, you need to have a YT or Arab or do as
That's a damn lie, especially for the black man. You should see what happened to Terrell Owens.
This is what they used to tell us. If you want to protect your money, get you a YT girlfriend.
They want to protect their money, and that's why they send the white women too. Right? They want to make sure that money coming back.
We had a guy come in, and the guy said, "You see this 6-point star on this badge right here?" He said it stands for the rich, the white, the property owners, the children, the business owners, and me, right? JEWS. He says, "Are you one of them? And if you're not, you need to connect yourself with one of them." That's what he said. He said, if you want to keep money, connect yourself with one of those things or put everything in one of those things' names. That's what he said. That's literally what he said. Yeah. And we looked at each other like, what? Bro, we're sitting there looking at each other like, I can't believe what I just heard. But these are very private rooms. These are very private spaces. And when these things are put out there, you will never hear them again. Right. But that was one of those speeches that I never heard again, but no one will admit happened. I guarantee you that other athletes in that same combine heard that same speech, and they know what I'm talking about. The last thing I'll say is, to answer the question, I will say that they are not ethical. I think some people feel like they are necessary, right? And I think some people feel like if those things don't happen, that they don't have a full shot at their full potential. For example, when you look at somebody like Sammy Davis Jr., right, found out his lineage, all this stuff, and literally converted from his American religion to another religion, right? Converted.
and he got opportunities by the association, but was not even allowed to announce it publicly, nor was he allowed to be or worship in the same synagogue. Right? Got away with marrying a daughter as long as everything was in her name. And those are examples of what happens, right? I mean, even the writing out of history, like we talk about the Schmollycost, right? We talk about the Schmollycost, but we never, we talk about the Schmollycost, right?
Yeah,
but
no, I just wanted to just clarify.
Yeah.
I say this a lot. It's a Schmollycost.
Yeah.
The Schmollycost has been on us.
Exactly.
A Schmollycost is on them. Yeah.
We talk about a Schmollycost, but we never include the 35,000 people on the census of Afro-German heritage in that Schmollycost.
Right.
For some reason, those people are missing from that number of people who were hurt during that Schmollycost. Although you can look up pictures and see their faces, and you have all the research that was done on them through the experiments and so forth that we still use to this day, but we don't acknowledge them for being part of the Schmollycost. 35,000 of them in the census. So why don't you see any people from that Schmollycost, right, being acknowledged, written on those walls, or receiving any reparations from their lineage? In that, I mean, it's obvious why you don't, right? It's obvious why you don't. Has anyone in here that has anyone ever met a person of color whose family was from that time, who has received a reparation from it?
Nope.
And was from that and you won't. And you won't, right? Because it was purposely left out of history and purposely isolated against that. There has not been a war, a tragedy that we have not been part of. It's not an Olympics. It's literally, we should just be receiving participation trophies without the trophy.
Right.
We've participated in the Civil War, the Schmollycost, the saving of the Schmollycost, everything on the lands, everywhere we've participated. But we've never received any monetary acknowledgement or any of that stuff, because it's not an oppression Olympics if we're in every event. It's not an Olympics for us. We're participating in every race and every event. Everything. We are across the board in everything, right? So we're just there. So it's not ethical to because how is it that we keep being part of the things but written out of the things? The first person to unalive in the Civil War was what?
Crispus Attucks.
There we go. So how is it that his family, we don't find any famous Attucks? Why isn't he as big as Hoover?
Right.
Shouldn't he be as big as Hoover?
Yeah.
If he was the first one to go down, shouldn't his name ring more bells than Hoover's?
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Like, it's just over and over and over again, from invention to everything. Like, the light bulb wouldn't work without the filament. You know what I'm saying?
Lewis
That's like,
Latimer.
the list goes on and on and on. So is it ethical? No. But to that question you asked earlier, why do you think there's no large anti-racism group amongst a certain group of people? Why does it not exist when they say they don't want it? It's simply because it is the admission. It is the admission of wrong. It's the admission of wrong by the group inside the group. There's no room for anarchy inside of a group that is known for oppression. There's no room. It could pop. Maybe there's one in some corner of the United States. Sure. Maybe there's, but I guarantee you it won't see the light of day.
Yeah, I haven't
The
seen
reason
it.
why it won't see the light of where you find the I, you know what I'm saying? Let's find a group called the I, the inclusion, right? Let's find a group called the I, right? And let's find their founding members to be all YT. And I guarantee you that it just it's so deep, bro. It's so deep. It is disgusting.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. Like one last thing before I slide off here, because I know you got a lot of people waiting in the queue.
Yeah, they waiting.
To not admit that we all have drank gallons, at least 8 years of gallons of racist juice.
Oof.
For that young lady to not admit that she was racist was so oblivious.
That's the thing that
It's
gets them.
so oblivious, bro. It's just like me saying that I don't have a misogynistic bone in my body. When I've been
Right,
drinking,
they understand it when it comes to that. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah. I've been drinking misogynist juice my whole life. I was given a small cup, and every year until I came into my own consciousness and self, I was drinking it. There's not a man who doesn't have misogynist tendencies or a mindset at core.
Right.
There's not a white tea man, woman, or even a person of color who doesn't have internalized racism. But when you see it and you call it out and you can check it, then you can dim the light and you could start bringing more acknowledgement to work it backwards. So yeah, I'm racist. Sure. Yeah, me too. I'm racist too, right? I'm racist. And you know what? I'll say that I'm racist against people of color too. Right? I'll say that. I'll say it out loud. I'm colorist.
Yeah,
I would just caution in saying that, because the problem is that Black people do not have the ability to be racist, period. So
Yeah.
I got the feeling he knows that. I think he's using the word loosely.
I totally get that, but
don't ever say that don't ever say that across panels or platforms.
Okay, I won't.
The problem
But
is that we understand the
that.
context of what you're talking about, brother. We understand the context of what you're talking about, brother. The entire everybody else don't.
Thank you. Hey, I appreciate you for safeguarding me. I definitely appreciate you for safeguarding me, because you're right. I shouldn't say that, right? That's something I shouldn't say.
I know what you mean, but
you guys know what I mean.
Know what you mean.
You guys know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So, but I won't say that because you know what I mean. So I don't have to drive it home, right? So, but we've all been drinking the same dirty water. We've all been drinking the same dirty water, and it's like until we decide, hey, this isn't right. This isn't Kangen 9.5. This isn't hydro. This is something else. I shouldn't even be drinking this. It's been messing me up the whole time. That's when we think that it's okay for us to, like, we think that we're actually benefiting from other cultures, and that it's actually a sharing going on.
Right.
And we actually think that it's actually a marriage that's between two people. It's not between two people.
Right.
It's actually it's stuff like fetishizing. It's stuff like being radical as a young white tea lady against my dad. It's stuff like I can't, like,
compromising my children's,
I would love for my baby to have caramel skin. You know what I'm saying? It's like
compromising Black children's allegiance to their own community by telling them that they're not just Black, they're Black and white. You're biracial. You're not, even though they'll be treated as Black. And for the most part, the Black community will accept you, even preference you in Black spaces, you know. But,
bro,
you know.
What's my question that I leave people that think that way? Why, if there's so much equality going on, like the last brother was talking about, why don't the YT community ever take back their kids that are half YT? Why don't they ever take them back? Why don't they say, no, he's white. He's white. I don't care what you guys say, he's white.
Right.
Why don't they ever take them fully black, fully back?
Yeah, like Meghan Markle. Why you
Yeah.
saw everything, monkey posters and things about her, but you didn't see any white folks saying no, she is white. She's not the first black person in the royal family. She's white. You don't see that.
Yeah. Why don't they ever take them 100% back?
Yeah.
Because the black community takes it. We take everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We take everybody. We're like, okay.
Yeah,
You're the
just light skin.
Bro,
Yeah.
we take the albinos. We take everybody. Hey, come one, come all.
Yeah.
But for some reason, if I had a white tea mom and I had a black dad, and I don't identify culturally because I didn't grow up somewhere or whatever the case may be, why can't I just go back to the white tea neighborhood and they're like, yeah, you're one of us.
Yeah.
Come on.
I won't look at you crazy if you marry my daughter, and
I won't look at you crazy. You're white.
Yeah.
Like, why is that?
Yeah.
How come like even the job application, how come you can't be on a regular job application? How come you can't be black in anything else? I want you to look up, I wish you had a job application right here. On a typical job application, because I was just helping my daughter fill out some, right? On a typical job application, you cannot be black in anything else. You can't be black and Hispanic. You can't be, you could be other, whatever other is, right? But you cannot be black.
You can be.
Anything
That's
else.
crazy because you can be white and Hispanic.
Yeah, but you cannot be black and anything else.
Whoa! All right. No, I mean I knew this. They call it hypodescent. There was a Harvard study done on it like a few years ago. Y'all could check it out. It's in the JSTOR Harvard Journal, whatever. They wrote an article on hypodescent, what they call the one drop rule, and it still persists. It is not going anywhere. Like TikTok will tell you, the one drop rule is over. We need to stop thinking like that. Like, no, it's going on right now. You have a drop, from one parent that is black, and you are perceived as black. No, that's factual, man. You could be a non-white Hispanic or a white Hispanic, but you're right. Why can't you be black in something else? Wow. All right, brother hashtag. I appreciate you for coming up, man. You're the first person coming up here with some sense.
Keep rocking,
All right.
man. I'm gonna come back for sure. I added you.
Yes, sir. Ashe. Come back up anytime. All right. We're gonna go to the next guest. I'm gonna bring my co-host, smart sister, up here.
Hey there.
Hey, Auntie.
Hey, Timothy. Yeah, I just got in. Yeah, that brother was on point. I didn't hear any food before that, so.
Oh man. People are commending me on my high tolerance today, so that's how you know we have some clowns up here.
People you said it was a white girl up here saying something?
Oh yeah, it was one of them, and we had a few P Woods and things like that. But you know how long I've been doing this. I'm numb. Like if it ain't about building, I'm really numb. I'm gonna be honest. Like I do this. So that we can put some good information out there, some high vibrations, and teach the people, and But I'm not getting upset by any of this.
It's for what? Now I still, like I said, sometimes the way somebody can say something can tap dance on a particular nerve.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, you're right. What is the point? People get on here doing this stuff, give me a break. I'd rather have a mental orgasm somewhere.
My focus is B1 Initiative, y'all. If you don't know, now you know. B1 Initiative Foundation is the 501c3 nonprofit. Smart Sister is one of the elders in our organization, and Brother Timothy is one of our directors. If you want to come and volunteer your time, donate. All donations are tax deductible. We are building a website called Sankofapedia. It's on my shirt. Sankofapedia is a Afrocentric online resource similar to Wikipedia, but it's going to tell history from an Afrocentric perspective, taking it from all the books and the teachings of the scholars from Africa, from the Caribbean, from Brazil, from all over the diaspora, and putting it in one place because we know y'all don't read. So we gonna put it in one place, make it fun and easy to use for y'all to look up something real quick and learn about your history, man. So if y'all want to contribute to that, also there's a video explaining it on my profile. You can go visit my profile. You're going to see a video pinned at the top, Sankopapedia, and it's going to explain it to you in much more detail. But yeah, if you want to volunteer, if you know anything about tech, we're a nonprofit technology startup, but we also have other initiatives and other resources that are available to help brothers and sisters learn. A knowledge center with over 100 hours of videos, lectures, and books. We're having a book club every Saturday at 6 Central Time, 7 Eastern Time. We are having a book club. We're going to start with Dr. Chancellor Williams, The Destruction of Black Civilization. We're going to listen to the audio book together, and then we're going to have a discussion centered around it. We're going to do that weekly so we can all learn together. And I'm excited because I'm going to get to reread and go back and learn some more. So, you know, every time you read a book, you should read a book 3 times. Once to read it. I forgot how it goes, but it's like once to, you know, get introduced to it. The second time to digest it, and the third time to like reconfirm. You know, like to really understand it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm excited for that. If y'all want to join us, b1initiative.org. Join the Discord. All right, Andra and Draco, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
I am 32, YT, and he, him.
All right, talk to us.
I would say the answer to both those questions is yes, because the only argument for why they wouldn't be is rooted in prejudice, prejudicial thought, and internalized racism.
Okay. So you're saying the only reason it wouldn't be beneficial to share culture would be because of racism, right?
The only reason it wouldn't be beneficial is because there's no reason for it not to be beneficial. It's only beneficial to share.
So racism is not a good reason for it not to be beneficial.
Yeah, because racism is
gone.
Racism.
Is it over? Yeah.
No, it's not over. It's definitely not over. I know that for sure.
Okay.
I was married to a black woman. I have 3 mixed children.
I'm sorry to hear that, man. Not for you, for the children.
Yeah, that's racist. To think that you think they're in a worse off spot because they're mixed.
No, that's not why.
Then why?
Because you're their father, and you don't understand the conversation that we're having here, which means you don't understand what your children are going through, and you put them in that predicament. So, I guess I'm sorry for those kids.
How do I not understand? How do I not understand? How do I not understand that when all
right, tell me the ways in which tell me how you're racist.
How am I racist?
Yeah, how are you racist? Are you a misogynist?
No.
Not at all?
No, not at all.
Okay, so you're a perfect being.
No, I didn't say I was perfect.
Okay, so you're not racist. Are you racist?
No.
You're not misogynist?
No.
Okay, are you homophobic?
No.
So you're none of these things. Wow, man, I'm trying to get like you.
And like, the thing is like for people like in the comments saying that my kids are in a worse off spot because they say that I can't, teach them what exactly? how to appreciate their black heritage.
Do you teach them that it's okay to trust white people?
No, because it's not.
Okay, why is it not okay?
Because depending on where you are, for example, there's still plenty of racist white people around.
And you're not one of them.
Actually, Auntie Gemini, they don't have a black mom anymore. She died of cancer, so have fun with that.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. I'm so sorry. That is going to make everything worse. Wow.
Cops aren't safe. They're not likely to help them, you know.
Are they around their black family members at all?
They want nothing to do with us because I'm white. Or white tea, sorry.
No, it's probably
No,
because
I
you're
said
racist.
the children.
No, they want nothing to do with them because I'm white tea and they're
Whenever
half
black
white
people
tea.
want nothing to do with a white person, it's usually, in my experience being a black man around black people, married to a black woman, from a black family, in a black community, it's usually because the white person's racist, not because they're white. It's usually some type of problematic unwillingness to confront themselves or self-reflect, unwillingness to self-correct, or even be truthful about themselves. That might be it.
I was married to my wife for 12 years. And when we got together, yeah, I had prejudicial thoughts, you know, mostly along the lines that, you know, racism doesn't exist. It's just black people being sensitive about every little thing. But I grew and learned from my wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now I know that's not the case.
But why is it that the same black community that will accept Eminem as the greatest rapper alive would reject you because you're
I didn't say
white?
it was all black people. I said it was my wife's family.
So
specifically them.
Mm-hmm. But what I'm trying to say is, if you say that they're racist, or that they're discriminating
Prejudice.
against
Black people can't be racist.
Prejudice, okay? Preconceived notion, not based in reason or experience. I think you're also, even in calling them prejudice, minimalizing their experience, because it sounds like they might have had an experience with you that you won't even admit to here on the stage. That, you know, you might be racist.
Admitted to it when I was younger. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And what did you do?
Well, then wouldn't that make them not want to buy?
People, yeah, but it's been 12 years, well, 14 years now since I've met them.
So if I was once I don't know, a actual predator, you know what I'm saying? I'm taking out the S. And I wanted to teach at a preschool, but that was like 12 years ago, man. Like, would the school be, you know, wrong to judge me based on my past? And you know what I'm saying?
Yes, because you actually harmed people. You physically harmed people.
Right. So when you say that the family is prejudiced, you're saying they have a preconceived notion about you, not based in reason or experience. They might have a reason to be defensive and apprehensive to having you around.
That might be true, but they've also had every opportunity to be with the kids without me. I've offered. I offered.
So you
hey,
have
you
the
want
kids?
Me to drop the kids.
Wait,
off?
so you have the kids?
Yes, I have the kids. Who else would they be with?
Someone black. So you're a white man raising black children away from their black family, and you're wondering why the black family doesn't like you.
No, I'm wondering why they don't want to see the kids.
They don't want to see you, I'm sure.
Well, that's the thing. They can see the kids without seeing me. I've offered to have them see the kids without me there.
How old are they?
My oldest is 12, my daughter is 9, and my youngest is 8.
8, 9, and 12. Wow. So what are they around any other black people, even other than their family, immediate
Yeah,
family?
they're around like some friends that I made in the military, yeah. One of their babysitters is this real nice black girl from down the street for when I have to go to work.
Oh no.
What? What did you just say?
Their babysitter is this real one nice black lady down the street that watches them when I go to work.
This one nice black lady. Okay.
He ain't say lady the first time. All right. He called her a girl. He said this was black, nice black girl.
What else would I call her?
Nice
well,
black
you don't
girl.
call any grown black woman a girl.
I'm scared to call black women a girl. So.
Okay, Lord, I'm just gonna have to pray for your children. Because Lord knows they're gonna have a way to go. What we're saying, if anything, you're totally a total example of why it's not ethical for people to be together. Because now look, and you know, peace be upon your wife that passed, but you know, this is just a total example of why. So your children are going to be raised by you, and you have no clue. You are racist. Every white person is racist somewhere inherently. So you are trying to raise them with no influence but one black woman or two, maybe, and that's it. So how are they going to be able to cope in the world? You can't teach them nothing.
What exactly am I supposed to teach them?
He don't even know.
That's part of the issue right there.
No. Give me an answer to that. What exactly am I supposed to teach them?
You don't know anything about racism, even though you're acting very racist. But of course I know. I've had to live through it for 63
because
years.
All you're saying is accusing me of being racist when I haven't done anything racist.
You have a racist mindset, mister.
Where?
So
How?
it's well, that's the fact that you're not even open to the fact that racism could have affected you. So the fact that you're closed off to that, even then, how can you teach them anything about it if you're not willing to answer it within yourself? You're getting real defensive. If racism can teach black people to hate themselves, how do you think you got off with anything? That's all I'm saying.
I already said that when I was younger, I most likely did hold some prejudicial thoughts.
Well, if he was younger, it's you now too. Once a racist, always a racist. Don't give me that. Oh, I saw the light. I married a black woman. The angel's supposed to come out the heavens. For real? If that was you then, it's still you. And if you really were open, you should go learn about it. No, but how did you change? What made you change? If that's how you felt, then what could possibly make you change if you didn't intellectually want to change and go understand what you were that according to you? What made you change? How could you change?
The love of a good woman.
That's all I'm saying. Huh?
The love of a good woman, for one. Are you going to say that a black woman couldn't teach me about racism?
You just called a black woman a girl in front of us. Do you know the history?
16-year-old. A 16-year-old girl. I would call a white girl that was the same age a girl.
Well, we don't play that.
They're 16.
I thought you was talking about someone else that was a potential... Okay, all right. So now I see what you're saying.
It was a 16-year-old. She's their babysitter.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna move on. That sounds crazy.
Give me a break.
All
Okay,
right.
Lord,
Yeah, we gonna
take
move
care
on.
of them
That
children.
sounds
That's all I
crazy.
got to
Hold
say.
on now. Not the babysitter, man. Hey,
Mm,
man,
mm,
you know
mm. OJ.
the middle-aged white teen men, they got the young black babysitter. Uh-oh. Watch out. All right, we're gonna go to the next guest. Bring some people up here. Somebody,
Have mercy.
what's going on, brother Israel?
Yo, what's
Peace.
good, brother Legend? What's good?
What's
I
going
want,
on? Talk to
I
us.
want to know. I want to know. Uh, what culture do they have exactly that they're sharing with us? Because as far as I'm concerned, their culture is destruction, and so we can't share culture because their whole culture is based off destruction, lying, and stealing. So, exactly what culture can we share? They can benefit from our culture, but what exactly in their culture can we benefit, steal, borrow, that would help us? Well, what is it do they have?
I would love to know. If y'all know, let us know. What culture has white people shared, not imposed, but shared with black African people that we did not already have? Someone came up here and said they shared the benefit of us learning English. It was a brother come up here. I don't know if he's brother or sister. He said it's they, them, but you know what I'm saying? He said learning English was a blessing. So we'll go to the next guest. Appreciate you, brother Israel. You can hang with us a little bit. STOOPID. I don't even know if we can say that word. Give us your age, race, and pronouns.
Jess. You can call me Jess. I'm white. I'm 29. She, her.
All right, talk to us.
Gosh, I've watched your live so many times. I just want to say thanks for letting me in to this space. Can black and white people benefit from sharing culture? I think white people definitely can benefit, just like one of your prior guests says. I think benefit is the key word. I was just telling my husband the other day, I think that Post Malone is a good example now that he's done, using everything that he did from black culture and rap music that he did. Now he's done with that and he's going to move on to country and do whatever he wants. That's one example that sticks out in my mind, but there's countless others.
Do you believe country music to be white culture?
No, not necessarily. I think that country music was built on folk music, which was built on the back of black musicians originally, from what I've gathered.
Okay.
But that's just one example.
So he went from appropriating one black culture to another.
Well, yeah, exactly. And just my husband's white. I think he almost just took that as me being hostile or something, but it's just an observation. It's just,
Didn't you say you was white?
yeah.
Okay.
I'm just giving the perspective. But yeah.
The first time I heard a white person tokenize their own race.
I can let you know where I'm coming from. But yeah, I think that so many white people benefit from black culture. I can't tell you how many girls like the one that you're using for your picture of your live. I mean, I grew up around those type of women.
All I had to do was search dreadlocks on Google. She came up right away.
Well,
imagine being a black person trying to, do your hair, and this comes up.
Yeah, she's the expert on the matter, right? But yeah, I grew up around those women. I still have to deal with those women. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard, I've got so many thoughts here. Like the first white girl that came up. God, I deal with so many of those women too that just cannot grasp what fetishization is, or that they're doing it, and it's But tread lightly here. I try to choose my words carefully.
Please do.
It's a certain type of white woman, most of the time, that is, like you said, that might be wearing dreads, or they're always appropriating some facet of the culture. They're speaking in a certain way that there's no reason for a white woman to be speaking. Like, I don't know if that's their attempt at being accepted by their black counterparts. I don't know. It's just hard. I've tried to have conversation with women like that, and it just always goes south because they just cannot even grasp the concept itself of fetishization, and that they're doing it, and that they don't have a love for black men. They don't have a love for black culture. I don't know how to say it. They're chasing after an image, or they want a certain lifestyle, or they want to put out a certain, I don't know. It's really disgusting to me. And there's so many things about black culture that I admire. I mean, I listen to the music. I follow multiple black creators. I crochet. A lot of my favorite crochet artists are black women.
Why do you love black culture?
I think there's just so much to be admired, and so much that, I don't know, it's all around us. I mean, it's appropriated all the time and stolen and everything like that.
What do you love about it?
And maybe I don't love it. Maybe I don't know. I admire it. I like the way the music sounds. I like the way that the women dress. I like how black women are confident, and
why can't y'all like it without stealing it?
Well, I'm sure. I mean, I'm not without fault. I'm sure I make mistakes all the time.
When you say you admire black culture, what facet of our culture do you admire? Is it the music, or?
There's music. There's a communal. I think black people are very connected with their friends and family in a special way. I mean, fashion, music.
Okay, so name a black artist that you really enjoy.
I mean, off the top of my head, I'll listen to Lil Wayne forever. I like Leon Bridges. I like, oh gosh, I'm trying to think. It's kind of niche. I crochet accounts that I'm sure no one has heard of. I would say music, I guess, is mostly.
So what do you like about your white culture?
What do I like about my white culture? I don't know. It's hard to nail down what white culture is.
It ain't hard. It's just uncomfortable.
Maybe it's uncomfortable. I mean, obviously, I like not having to worry about losing my life if I get pulled over. I like not having to worry about showing up to a job interview and someone judging me.
It's not getting unalived by cops, and that's your culture?
No, I don't think that's just my culture. There's
your culture. I mean, your culture. What do you like about your culture?
Well, I mean, what is white culture if not a grouping of stolen...
You don't have any culture.
From other cultures. I mean, in America today, like where we're at now, like I'm probably far removed from my culture.
Where we're at, who's we?
White people.
Oh, where y'all at? Okay,
white teeth.
I got you.
Yeah, we know this, Israel. I want to know what it is about Lil Wayne that that resonates with you as a European descendant.
Well, just the art that he makes sounds good to me. You know,
he's a
businessman. I mean, he built his own record label. He, has infiltrated every facet of entertainment at this point. I think he's kind of an icon in that sense. And not just Lil Wayne. It's hard to put my finger.
No, it's okay. I mean, you don't have to go too far. I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
It sounds like the aesthetics, like black culture is aesthetically pleasing to you. Like, on the surface, it's something that stimulates the senses. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, and I don't want to seem so on the surface. I mean, the things like black women, I own my own business, and tons of my clients and my customers are black people. And it's a totally different experience, something that I, of course, can never fully grasp or understand fully. But I just admire it. To go through and live in America as a black woman or man, and the adversity that obviously that they will face and that I will never deal with, or
that you will benefit from.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So you like the people suffering from the privilege awarded to you when they make music about that oppression?
No, I mean,
it's like if I were to grape
music, but I can grasp and totally understand that there are hardships, and that art comes from a lot of those hardships. But
right.
What is your business? What is your business?
I own a retail store, like a boutique. It's an adult boutique. I know I can't say certain things on here,
Toys.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Does your husband appreciate the culture as much as you do?
We haven't gone super. This is more something that, we've talked about it and my feelings about it. I think he might not really understand why I even care. Like I said, I've joined a lot of these lives and I try to educate myself constantly. I'd like to think that I try to be anti-racist. I mean, when we were opening the business, I sought out. I grew up in a not very diverse. I mean, where I grew up, like where I went to high school, was probably 50% Hispanic. Maybe I knew like 15 to 20 black kids when I was growing up in high school. But diverse enough that I could totally understand. Like when the George Zimmerman thing happened, I just remember being disgusted by that and seeing what my other white peers, a lot of my other white peers, not really caring or feeling like it didn't affect them. And of course, I know I will never be as affected by it as a black person, but I've always been very interested in knowing why that is able to go on so freely.
Are you familiar with sadomasochism and like how that works? I think it's the masochist that gets gratification from seeing other people
being hurt,
suffer.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there might be some of that there?
No, I mean, who knows the intricacies of my psychological makeup? I don't think so. I think, no, like watch.
I'm just asking you questions to see if you've asked yourself.
Well, and I appreciate that very much, which is another reason that I join these lives, is because there's so many aha moments where I'm just, questions come up that I've never considered a certain point of view or perspective. But no, I feel true disgust, like when George Floyd happened. Just that is disgusting to me.
Why doesn't it disgust you when Lil Wayne talks about hiding C-Rack in his jaws as a young child to sell to his own people?
That's a good question. I can see how his...
And in your business that you have, let's face it, selling the BBCs and the different
Because we know you got
videos.
them, and they're brown, and it don't feel no different when it's brown. But the minds of white women, it feels better when it's brown. We know you got them.
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah.
And even interracial porn is the most popular. So, you know, that all we're saying, we're trying to get, well, we're not trying. We're just bringing to the fore how YT people don't even see how all the stuff you're interested in, just that whole industry is racist as hell. It's
Very
based on
racist.
racism, you
Yeah.
know, because like I said, interracial porn is the most popular porn.
Well, I will
So,
say I don't
Actually,
deal.
not though.
I don't
I
deal
was
in
talking to my wife
pornography.
about this. Sorry, I was talking to my wife about this, and she was saying how when she searches certain topics, like when she types in something ebony, it's usually a white man doing a black woman the first, but they own these things so they can push that if they
Right.
want to. Remember, they're trying to push us to create stronger European Africans. That's what they want. They want to create stronger versions of themselves, so they have to manipulate us to want them because nobody in the world wants them. Nobody wants them. Nobody, when
Right.
people, when they go to like China, nobody was like, "Ooh, white people." Nobody cares about them. Nobody does that. But when it's us, though, everybody in the world wants us. Everybody wants us. Not only that, everything we mix with makes beautiful children. Like there's not one race we can mix with that the baby gonna come out ugly. When an Asian person and a white person mix, the baby don't look it look ugly. Everything they mix with is ugly except us. So they want to manipulate the people who can make the prettiest kids for them to want them back because nobody want them. They don't even want each other.
I mean, look at what you have to search in order to see a black man or a black woman. If you want to see the black man, you got to search BBC, which, again, the color don't make it feel no different. So why is there two B's? Why isn't it just BC?
Can
Why
I
is it
clarify one thing?
BBC? You know, and then when you want to search for the women, you got to search a type of wood, an inanimate object.
They're objectified. Exactly. Extremely objectified.
And
that's why-
fetishized because the black man is fetishized through that BBC title.
Which is
because
a
the
major
race of the race of the sea don't make a difference. They just make a difference in their minds.
Well, I'd like to say that's part of the reason I do not and will not ever. I could be making so much more money if I sold P word. I don't know if I can say that on here. I don't. If I sold it, I could make a ton more money. I don't deal in that at all. We could have. We don't. And I think that's a huge issue, is the objectification of both black women and men in that industry. I can completely concede to that. Yes.
All right. Well, we're going to go to the next guest. Thank you for coming up.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Next guest. Tap like, brothers and sisters. Tap like, so we can get to 75K. I'm just up here chilling today, man.
Lil Wayne and BBC's. Hey.
I'm always,
living.
I'm as someone that made music, and I actually have a song with Lil Wayne. If y'all search Big Bro Legend Lil Wayne, you'll see I actually have a song with Lil Wayne. I produced a song with Lil Wayne, and I'm disgusted by the music I made in the music industry because even then it didn't align with my morals. But I figured at the time, I was thinking as a capitalist, just make the beat and send it to whoever. And I'm always interested. Me as a black man that has now realized himself and realized his connection to, the oppression of his people around the world. I look at that music much differently. I look at it as the poisoned minds of our people being platformed and brought to the spotlight by white people to further spread that poison throughout our community. The idea of getting away with crime, the idea, because doing what Lil Wayne does in real life can get you sentenced. You know what I'm saying? Doing what a
Mm-hmm.
lot of these rappers are doing, get you in trouble, and they normalize it. So young brothers that don't know any better think, well, he raps about doing this and that, so maybe I can get away with doing this
Right.
and that, and just there's a lot
Right.
more to it. But yeah, me as a black man, if I'm disgusted, I'm looking sideways. Why is this person okay with that?
You already
You
know, because
already
a lot
know.
of
Yeah.
us are okay with it, unfortunately.
And I noticed, bro, our love songs is all like breakup songs and divorce and couldn't handle it no more. It's all trauma is what it is.
Absolutely. If you wonder, I think she said, if you wonder why I hate you, I do. I forgot the song, but that song disgusted me when it came out. I said to my wife, I'm like, this what we singing now? We going from loving you, baby, to I hate you.
I gotta stab it. I gotta, stab it. Even that.
Oh my goodness. Right.
And I just wanted to tell a quick story, Legend, going back to the athletes and how true what that brother said. I went to Marquette University, Dwayne Wade. I was back just getting there right after they won the NCAA championship in '77. But I'm old. But anyway, he's absolutely right. Usually they let the freshmen stay in the dorm one semester. After that, they usually, the alumni. Now, this is the alumni, right? That take them out, give them, whatever they want, set them up, like he said, with the YT girls, and share, and the brothers that want to stay with sisters, crown on, or whatever. And I can tell you this one brother that I knew that was on the team. Took a sister to all the public events, like when they were meeting with the alums or, all out in public, he always took a sister. So this one white girl that he was stabbing got mad. Like, why don't you ever take me? What kind of N-word are you? Right? Wow. So he let her go. He didn't say nothing. So later on, he called her over. Y'all, this is nasty, but later on, he called her over, and she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I used that word. I didn't mean it. I'm so sorry." So anyway, it got to that time, right, with the mouth, and he pee-peed in her mouth, and he said, "Now that's an N-word." So I just had to tell y'all that is so true what he said. It happens so much, but there are a few brothers that don't fall for it, and a lot of that has to do. That's why we got to get to our babies when they like 13, because you got to realize, say basketball, football, they've been watching our little young brothers for that long, since they 13, 14, 15, you know what I'm saying? And so by the time they get 18 and ready to go away, if they haven't had the proper training ahead of that, that's how they fall for that stuff. That's why we got to get a lot more brothers to get to these babies. I mean, 8th grade, 9th grade, that young, so they know when they go in there and sign them contracts, because just like what you were saying, when we're looking at the money, we're looking at opportunities. A lot of these women are single moms, that the little boys want to do something for their mother. They want to protect their mother, so they sign those contracts and do that stuff. But I just had to tell y'all, but there's always a story where some of us don't fall for it. So that's all.
Absolutely. All right, y'all, keep tapping like. We almost at 75K. 75K is the goal. We need y'all to keep tapping like as you listen along so that we can reach our goal. If you want to comment right now, then you can subscribe to the live. Host is live almost daily. I took a week because I had a cold, but you can also catch replays of the live on YouTube. We are on YouTube, BROLGND. Go ahead and search it up. All of our replays, if you want to see a replay of this live, we post them daily, Monday through Saturday. So you can check that out as well. On Sunday, if you want to come and join us, our nonprofit link is in the bio. B1initiative.org is a 501c3 nonprofit, making the website Sankofapedia an Afrocentric online Wikipedia, similar to Wikipedia. I'm sorry, site similar to Wikipedia, but from an Afrocentric perspective, so that brothers and sisters can learn about the history, learn about the scholars in one place. All right, we'll go to the next guest. User, give us your.
I'm gonna jump down, brother Legend. I gotta take my son to ball.
All right.
It was good hanging with you, man.
Yes, sir. Ashe, brother. Appreciate you. Be safe out there. Protection. All right. User, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
I'm black. My name is Malika, and I'm she.
All right. Thank you, Malika. Go ahead and talk to us.
I wanted to talk about our marriages between black people and white people ethical. Because my mother's black, my dad was white, and they were married till they died together. And if it's done correctly, like they did it, it can be beneficial for black people because we make our babies blacker. Do you understand? We didn't go back to white. We went, like my grandniece is dark, very heavily melanated. So we went back to black. So if it's done correctly and you're taught right, you can go back to black. It does not always go back to white, like most of these people who keep having babies with white people and then their kids have babies with white people, because we weren't taught that. We were taught black is beautiful. My whole family's black. On my mother's side is, 9 kids, so I have a large black family. I barely know the white family, even though my parents were together for 56 years. So it can go back to black.
Brother Timothy, I see you come on camera. You want to say something?
Yeah, that's a hard disagree, sister. In the vast majority of instances, that is not what's happening at all. And
because they're not taught right. That's what I said. You have to teach them correctly.
But sister, the problem is that opens up a can of worms that is too dangerously close to, well, maybe if you could find the unicorn, then maybe, just maybe, things will work out okay. And then, we'll get back to the right way that we need to. Do you like it? Basically, what you're doing is what you're trying to do is you're trying to. It's almost like it's a gamble, and now the house always wins. Whenever you go to the casino, the house always wins.
Exactly. My mom.
What you're betting on is you're betting on that you're going to roll sevens every time. That's the problem. Like, see, the house is always going to win. The odds of you rolling sevens is down to 0, practically. And you're saying, well, I mean, just because it's at 0.1%, that, that's a possibility. So therefore, in the vast majority of cases, it is not benefiting our Black African family globally. It is not to date outside the community. And even though in very specific instances, do we unapologetically go back to identifying as Black African people and stand on business and on code, that is few and far in between. In the vast majority of instances, you are seeing a lot of Black biracial people up here, extremely problematic to our own African family, to our own African spaces, talking about, well, I don't know if I'm this, well, I don't know if I'm that, talking about how they're mixed with Doberman and sperm whale, thinking that that's somehow going to fix racism.
But I think what she's missing is you shouldn't need to teach correctly. Like that's like saying you can be friends with a zombie. You just gotta make sure they stay chained up. You keep them in a cage, and you treat them correctly, and then you could be friends with a zombie. And it's like, why do we even want to put ourselves in this predicament? Like, why do we even like what you're talking about is survival, not ethics, first of all, what the question is about. But what you're talking about is if you do it correctly, you can survive an unethical situation. And we're not saying you're wrong, but The fact that we have to try to survive and teach and make sure that we end up back on the black side of things means that we shouldn't have been on the white side of things in the first place.
Well, I agree. I would never date a white man. I would never in a million years date a white man. There's no way that I would want anything but a black man.
It's not worth the risk.
No, I don't believe in interracial marriages. I asked my mother, why did she sell out when I was a kid? I believe my father was not a racist, but he was very misguided on what really happens to black people, I noticed.
One thing one of the scholars said, Dr. Neely Fuller Jr., is that a white person can convince a black person that they're not a racist, but we can never say that a white person isn't racist because he could have been tricking that one black person. He could be lying to you. Just because your father loved you don't mean he loved your people. I can meet your father and have a completely different experience with him.
No,
So
I think he had a love affair for black people, period. It might have been fetishized at one point, but
ain't no way at one point.
That's an extremely problematic way to found an entire relationship. You do realize, like, if I fetishize the fetishization, hold on, sister,
like that.
Sister, but that's the problem. The problem is that if it's founded off of fetishization, then that is literally the worst. It's literally the what's it called? The wolf and the pig story. If you build a house made out of straw, the house is going to topple. If you build a house made out of sticks, the house is going to topple. If you build a house made out of brick, that's the one that withstood the blowing of the wolf. But the problem is that we keep on thinking that we're going to be able to, and that's another thing. Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. also talks about in his book, The Compensatory Counter-Racist Code. He talks very specifically about how one of the greatest ways a YT person can perpetuate racism, white supremacy, is by interracial marriage, because they effectively know that they are engaged in benefiting from the system of racism, white supremacy, because they operate every single day in and day out to maintain it. They know that the system benefits them. They know that they are willing to sacrifice even themselves to maintain the systems and the constructs of racism, white supremacy. And for a YT person to know that they have a unjust advantage over other people, and then to still decide, I'm going to sleep with that person.
Right.
You are effectively, just like how Dr. Neely Jr. was saying, that you are perpetuating in the highest form the maintaining of racism, white supremacy. And that goes for my father. That goes for your father. That goes for every single YT person that does that.
Was your father in the household with you?
Yeah, he was.
So you saw him do racist things? I've never, ever in 50 years seen my dad do anything racist.
That don't mean he's not racist.
No,
and you don't have to do anything to be racist. I could sit here.
No. What I'm saying is that, like, I seen him be misguided, like with my brother, because my brother looks more black than I do, actually. So he always, like, the police would stop him, and he would say, well, the police never stops me. And I had to explain to him, because you're white. You know what I'm saying? Because you're acting like you guys are the same, and you're not. You have a black son, and this is why, blah, blah, blah. So things like that. Like, my father did cry, and this is funny, when OJ did not win. Everybody in my house cheered. I mean, when he did not get convicted, he was in the room crying like the rest of the white people. So that really touched me. Like, you really are white. Like, you really are.
And you can't see it.
No, I did see it.
You obviously can't. That's what you just said. You've never seen him do something racist. He was crying for the OJ verdict. Your father did something racist in front of you.
Got killed by OJ, but he at first was talking about how he didn't believe it, but in his white heart, he couldn't accept it.
He couldn't accept, right?
I understand that. Trust me, I understand that. I understand that clearly about white people, and he was one of the most
So he was a racist.
No,
you just said it. Racist. You just said you never seen him do something racist. Then you told me how he just showed he was a racist in front of your face.
Why? That's being a racist?
Absolutely.
No, that's happening. Those are their white feelings.
Did he cry? Did he cry when Breonna Taylor's police officers just got their sentence, their case thrown out this week?
But he He was dead already by then, but he did
Uh,
cry about maybe what's somebody that got
did
killed
he
at one
cry
point.
when Latasha Harlins was
He cried
unalive?
about that, and he cried about what's his name getting beat.
Oh,
Rodney
so,
King.
so he, but did he? No, see, I ain't asking if he cried about the violence. I'm asking if he cried about the verdict.
Yes, yes. In Los
Mm.
Angeles, we are from Los Angeles. This is where we are, and it happened here. Yes.
Sound like he was crying all over the place. But if he crying about OJ, he racist.
He didn't cry in front of us. I just happened to walk in his
What
room
I'm
and there was a
listen, him
white
crying or
mom
not
tear,
crying or not,
and
da,
I
da, da,
said,
da.
"This is how white
Just cause
people."
your white daddy love you, don't mean he
No,
love your people. If
he
he
loved
loved your people,
everybody in my
he would
family.
look around at what's happening to your people, and he would know that he himself, being a beneficiary of that oppression, needs to do something about what is being done. Organize with other people that are like-minded like him, create an organization, create some sort of fund to empower you or empower your mother or empower whoever around him that he could to further survive and thrive, not thrive, but survive the system that continues to oppress us. Like he would create institutions to dismantle racism and create justice.
Well, in the
So
70s, they were in that type of thing. That's how they met. They met in the 60s, but they were
none of that matter,
It
and
doesn't,
that's
sister.
what you're missing.
no.
But
I'm
it's all
Sister,
saying
right. We ain't not gonna convince you. We ain't not gonna convince her daddy racist. She ain't gonna be
I'm
convinced.
not here to say that my dad
Yep.
was totally not. He was above board. He was white. You can never
Ain't
trust.
no exactly. So that's what I'm trying. That's all we saying.
I'm saying he's not a person that was. He wouldn't
Sister,
listen to
He
somebody.
Sister, every
convinced
single white
you. He ain't
person is
convincing
inherently
us.
racist. Every single white person is inherently racist. That includes our family. We need to stop trying to
I
attempt
agree
to
with you.
engage in individualistic perspectives, and we need to look at the collective. That's the issue here. We keep on looking at just what's going on with us rather than just what's going on with our black community, our black global black African family. If all you're doing is paying attention to just what happened with you, then you miss out on what is within the best interests of
Saying
black people collectively. And you and me, as black people, have a responsibility to
correct.
our people to do anything and everything that we can to work towards liberating our people, period. So that means we need to push away from thinking that, oh, well, my experience was fine, so therefore my experience equals the over 2 billion black people
I
that live on the planet
know
today. No,
that I'm
no.
different. I know what kind of family I came from, and I know that a lot of people do not. But in my neighborhood, there was a few, and everyone I know that had a white dad, all of us are still black. All our kids are black.
Ain't
All our
nobody say you. Listen, we don't get into the identity. We ain't say you wasn't black.
no.
We
I'm saying
saying you protecting your
went
white
back
father, and
black.
when shit gets real between black and white people, those with a white parent tend to protect their white parent, and that's the problem that we have with biracial people sometimes. Sometimes I'm not saying that's all of them, but a lot of y'all have been brainwashed into not having a allegiance to your people because you have a father. I know that's hard. I know it's hard. You love your father. You should love your father. If you
People
didn't love your father, that wouldn't be healthy.
people
But
accuse
it
me of
should
being racist to
stop
white
at
people,
that father. And when it
and I
comes to what's in the best interest of our community, we still need you to do what you got to do. And
exactly. I'm being accused of being a person with a white father and being racist towards white people. That's what I get accused of every day. Because I'm
that's
teaching black history, because I teach the truth about what white
all
people
right.
are. So
Okay.
people
All right,
That's
sister.
that's normal.
That
That's just part of being black. We all
yeah.
feel that. We all get that. That ain't nothing new.
Yeah.
they
Do you realize how many
like
DMs that I get from all types of like race it's common. The second that you start fighting for your people, you're gonna have all types of tiki torch, tyrannical toilet papers coming into your comment section, coming into your messages, all types of nonsense. Like they're
All
just
you
gonna
gotta
do
do is
that.
talk. All you gotta do is
Yeah.
talk about what's going on with your people. You're gonna get white folks. When you start doing something, then you're gonna get black folks in your DMs. talking all kind of divisive nonsense. I get more hate from black people than white people. Be honest, because I'm actually building something.
For social media, I was getting the same response from people because this has been me since I was born, basically. I've always known a difference between black and white. I've always noticed things, even though I grew up in a black neighborhood, but a upscale black neighborhood in Los Angeles. I'm like, I still seen the difference. I went to a rich white school, and my mother would say, "Why don't you have any friends there?" It's because you got me in the school with a bunch of white kids. Why would I befriend these people? I've never had a white friend in my life, ever.
Okay, user, it's all right. We I forgot your name. I don't mean to be disrespectful. It just says user right there, but it's all right. We ain't trying to pull your black card, sister. You good with us, and I appreciate you coming up and sharing with us, though.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Y'all keep tapping like. We are almost at 100K. You know what I'm saying? She good. I feel like that was a somewhat knowledgeable, productive conversation. I hope y'all got something from it, but you know, we don't want her to feel like we judging her, I guess, you know. And the next guest is D Lady. What's going on, sister?
Brother, how you doing?
I'm well.
Thank you for inviting me up. I didn't realize I was going to get called so soon. I just wanted to say, you know, we have to look at who gave us this book called the Bible and how they do not follow anything in that book. And they claim to be, you know, Christians and they love God so much. And then they want to intermingle with us. They've never given us anything that showed us that they understood us, had compassion, empathy for us. So I just don't understand how our people can look at them and say, this person loves me. Because they've never demonstrated that even when holding their Bible. So it's just wild to me. The young lady that was up, you know, I commend her loving her dad. But the delusion that these people have thinking because that one white tea person loves them, that all is well in the world. And it's not. It's not well. They are inherently all racist. And some of them need to come to terms with that. They have to unpack that. They fetishize. Give you an example, was on a dating site, and I put in my little bio, black men only. Because I don't want to have to go through the...
Did they come?
Sorry. Huh?
Did they flood your inbox?
Honey, what?
Hell yeah. I've done
money.
it too.
I did that one time.
I'm like, can these people read? And the kicker is, you know, because I don't want to have that conversation. Well, listen, I thank you for, being interested. I'm flattered. But the kicker was this one white tea older gentleman. His whole attitude was, I think you're beautiful, so I'm going to still say something to you. And you should just appreciate the compliment. And, it's crazy how you're excluding other people. Like, you gonna wag your finger at me? I said, sir, little advice to you. You need to look at history, do some research, and ask yourself why I would not choose you. You need to ask yourself that, sir. And then another thing is you violated my boundaries because I made a decision and I planted said decision in my bio. So your mistake right there was to disregard my bloody decision. So how can you respect me as a woman, as a lover, as a human being if you won't even respect a small thing is black men only?
Yeah.
That's what I ride with, sir. Yo, I don't need you to tell me I'm beautiful, motherfucker. I look at myself in the mirror every day.
All right now.
I know what my badissi look like. I know what my eyeball look like. Sir, I don't need your approval. You got me all the way 50 Shades of Grey messed up.
I heard that.
It was just his arrogantness. That's that entitlement. So how could he love me as a woman if he won't even respect something small as keep it pushing? You know what I'm saying? And then you got these folks, oh, we need to forgive each other, love each other. Child, look. Leave me and my people alone. Let us deal with each other.
Right.
I love you, brother Legend. I love
Absolutely.
you, brother Timothy. My sister, Smart. You guys be blessed and take it easy. And thank you for letting me come up. Whenever I catch you, my brother, I'm always glad. Thank you for letting me talk to you guys. I shame my brother.
All right. One love. One love.
One love, baby. Thanks, sis.
I know that's right. I put that in my bio. I put looking for a black woman so I can have intentional black children so that they don't grow up with a false sense of identity or something along those lines. Like I don't want my children to grow up confused. Man, the sisters flooded my inbox, boy. I had so many black women in there. My inbox was black as the TV turned off. It was just all sisters in there, and then every now and then you get a salt in the pepper shaker, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, here she go. She's trying to match with you and gonna say something like, I don't want to overstep your boundaries, but I thought you were handsome or some bullshit like that.
Yeah, sisters, we get flooded with the white, because then they're like, that's just them being them. But, well, why? Why would you say that? Like you're saying, they just cannot take the fact that you don't want them. I'm
going to tell y'all this, and this what Nearly Fuller Jr. says. We should look at those white tea people that approach us the same way we look at P3DO files, if y'all know what I mean. P3DO files. We should look at them the same way, because these are people that are seeking to enter a relationship where they are at an advantage to take advantage. Because we're not economically as powered as they are and seen as equal in society, they know that. They know they have the advantage, and they still seek us. When they still seek us out, that is a predator. And I know that to many black people, that sounds radical. But the more you do the work and the more you start to understand the mechanisms behind racism, the more you start to see that is a very logical framework. If you want to look up more, the book is by Dr. Nearly Fuller Jr., The Compensatory Counter-Racist Code. And y'all can look up Dr. Fuller in YouTube, and you can catch a lot of his lectures where he talks about these topics. I'm going to go to the next guest. Excuse me, James SGH. What's going on? James GH.
Yeah, what's up? Okay, question. It said, I don't think we should share cultural benefits because a lot of inventions and things we created have been taken from us. So black people is being used as like a resource around the world. So that's why I think, unity is the first thing and the next step. They hate unity. Look at the Black Panther movement. They were scared, Yeah. So that's why I like what you're doing, because that's what we need in the 21st century. And, you look around the world, it's like the world collapsing. So that's the main thing we need.
Black unity, black love.
Yeah.
We have to, and that's what part of Brother Timothy's, I'm going to call it a ministry because it really is. I mean, ministry is just not something for religion, you know. But Brother Timothy has taken on the role of ministry of propaganda, incentivizing and re-indoctrinating black people into loving themselves is the greatest form of power that we can build our foundation on as a people, our communities. When you start with self-love, then you start to reflect that self-love onto your brother, your sister. Then we start to get strong black family units. Then we start to get strong black culture. Then we start to get strong black nationalism to the point where we're starting to take and build our own power base. And, you know, that's what Pan-Africanism is about.
Yeah, I agree. You know.
Absolutely.
Did you listen to my Earth, Wind, and Fire song yet, Legend?
I didn't listen to it yet, Auntie.
Okay, I don't know if I put it in the right place.
I seen a lot of
but
people
I put the song and the lyrics.
Yeah, I seen a lot of people liked it. Yeah, they listening to it.
Okay, good.
I've been doing a lot of stuff. Man, these past 2 days been a blur for me. I didn't even go to work today. It's just been too crazy. That's why I'm up here so early. But yeah, Brother Anwar, what's going on, family? Brother Anwar, you with us? I'm not sure what's going on. Thank y'all for tapping like, y'all. We got to get to 100K. We got to get to 100K. We are at 85K. That just means I need y'all to tap like on the screen for like a few minutes. Big up to the new subscriber. I seen somebody subscribe. I hope you're still here. I'm not sure if it was King Mike. Looks like it was King Mike. Thank you for subscribing. If you want to comment now, then you can subscribe. I'll turn the comments back on when we get to 100K likes. We're almost there. Anwar, are you with us, brother? I'm not sure what's going on. Come on back up. And JJ Stocky, looks like you having issues too. Not sure what's going on. Keil, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
Got you, bro. My name is Kel. I'm 22. I am black, and I am he, him.
All right, talk to us.
Yeah. Appreciate you for letting me come on your live. You're doing God's work here, brother. Can black and white people benefit from sharing culture? That's a very complex question for many reasons. Because I don't really understand what YT culture is. In America, it's hard to navigate to see what that is. So I would feel as if for us, it would just be us giving our culture to them. And many times as black human beings on this earth, and specifically in America, we have tried to share something with them, and it has been taken and flipped on us to not benefit us. So I don't know if it can be beneficial for us to share the culture. And then when it comes to marriage, I have gripes with it for two reasons, but I'll just stick to one because I don't want to make this long and I can land my plane. I would say that back in the 90s and the 80s, FBI's had people who were infiltrating our communities to kind of get us to a point to where we couldn't defend ourselves in a way, and feel as if we were walking with people who walked with faith, but they weren't. They were walking with the devil. And
Gloria Steinem.
You know exactly. Okay, my good brother. Yeah. And I was recently reading a book about the spook that sat by the door.
Oh man, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Listen, so many of our people. Yeah, we need that one. Can you repeat the title for us, brother?
Yeah, it was the spook that sat by the door.
The spook that sat by the door. Y'all need to read this. Go ahead, brother.
Very, very good book. Yeah, but I would say that it's not ethical for the fact that many people come into the relationship on the opposite side of us with no knowledge as to what our culture is and understanding of our culture. And I feel as if that if you're going to come into a relationship and come into a marriage, you need to be cognitive on what we stand for, what we are, and what our people have gone through. And as a YT person, if you can't admit that you're inherently racist, and that doesn't mean that you came out the womb racist, that means that the system was created and America was created to benefit you and an advantage for you. If you cannot admit that, then I don't believe that you are coming into a relationship with good intent.
Absolutely. The first step of being an anti-racist is acknowledging that you're a racist. And that is that's the question I haven't had. Well, I think I might have had one or two white people come up here and say, yes, I'm a racist and I'm working on it. But then the next question is, why are you an anti-racist? And then they go into some biblical spiel about morality and it's wrong. And, they can't tell us, what actually motivated them to become an anti-racist. And that's when I say, okay, you just saying that in front of us is performative. You haven't really, you're not really an anti-racist. You just want to sound cool in a room full of black people.
Or go back to alcoholism. When you go there, remember it's the 13 steps, it's the this, that, and the third. Now, my thing is follow that. And because like you said, it gets to the root. With alcoholic, you first admit you're alcoholic, but then you have to go into why.
Right.
So it's the same thing, It's like, please, like you said, don't be performative.
And then the reason you chose not to be an alcoholic isn't just because it was wrong and it's not a good thing. No, the reason is because you understood it was harmful, it was unhealthy. So you see what I'm saying? You understood the effects it had on you. In this case, it would be a person, but when it comes to racism, the effects it has on other people, the effects it even had in the white community, and how y'all have messed up your own civilization with racism.
Thank you.
So like they fail that question.
Yeah, I will say, brother and sister, y'all probably are older than me. Our generation is waking up. I think we're waking up from this matrix. And I think people are starting to get nervous. And I think he's going to show in this election here. I think a lot of people are now, instead of asking, and MLK is my good frat brother, they are demanding what we need. And I think we need more people like that. I think we need more people like you who we can come up on a live and we can just understand and get to the root of the issue. Because there's a lot of people who have self-hatred based off of the educational system, and we all know who wrote the history book as the Sisters of the Confederate. I mean, the Daughters of the Confederate. So, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people who have grown up in situations to where they have self-hatred for themselves and their race. And I'm waiting for them to wake up as well, because God is coming. He gonna heal us. But the work that y'all have done, the blocks that y'all have put on this wall, I'm telling you, we gonna continue that.
All right.
Well, yeah, and I commend you, young people. The only thing I have to say about some of the young folks, think about it. It's been like young folks like you in every generation. You know what I mean? It's always the young people that are going to be the ones to wake up and do the work. Howsoever, we have to make sure we learn from each generation that went before us. That is what has been the problem to a degree. Because we keep experiencing the same things over and over because we didn't get the lesson the last time.
Right.
Okay, and that's spiritually, any way you want to look at it in life. Think about it. Have you ever done something and you reacted the wrong way, and then what happened? It happened to you again until you get it right.
Right.
Okay, so that's what we got to do, and then that's why I do the stuff with the IGT, because once you understand it, and you won't keep making the same mistakes that were made before you, and that's what we have to really do, because life does that. It will put you in the same situation a million times until you get it right.
Right.
Since you're spiritual and you're talking about the Most High, so that's what you got to understand. That spiritually, that's how that works.
Absolutely. Ashe. Brother Keel, did you have anything else to say?
Yeah, no, that was it. I could drop down after that, brothers. Brothers and sisters, I just want to share it. I love the live. I love the work you're doing, and you just keep on.
I say,
Yeah,
appreciate you,
love
baby.
you too.
All
All
right, y'all
right.
have a good day.
Yes, sir.
You
One
too.
love. One love. All right, we going to the next guest. Thank y'all for tapping like. We almost at 100K. Let's get to 100K likes. We got 2K left. So keep tapping, and I'm gonna open up the comments, and we'll hear
Hey,
from
I'm
some of
on
y'all.
here. I didn't mean to cut you off. I don't know how I did that. I told you before. I do not know how to work these stupid phones, man.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't. And when you kept saying I'm here, I'm going. Yeah, I'm here. I'm trying to press the mute button, but it wouldn't go off. I don't know. My finger's too big. I don't know what it is, brother. I really don't, man. I'm sorry about that. I'm not trying to interrupt your life. You know I respect you more than anything in this world. You know I do.
Yes,
So
sir. Appreciate you.
forgive me, brother. Please forgive me for that.
No, you straight, brother. Go ahead, talk to the people.
I heard a lot, man. I heard a lot. Whoa, I heard a lot. The white girl didn't know if she was racist. The other white boy didn't know, you know what I'm saying, she was racist. The black sister kept defending her racist father. You know what I'm saying? I just don't get it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I always tell you, we need a time for us, just only us, man. I'm a strong believer in that, bro. We need a time for just us, no other nationalities or whatever you want, whatever. No time, just us. It's us as a people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said, man, we do all the hard work, the blood, sweat, and tears, and what they do, they walk right up our little deceased bodies and claim, what they, claim it,
Mm-hmm.
and I had no respect for that, man. I got no respect for this country. I got no respect for nothing. I love my own. That's it. I love my own. And if young lady, if you are teaching, if you are listening, you can't teach your kid, you know, what you was saying you was teaching, and they got a white male figure in the house spitting stuff in their ear too. So it just don't work that way. It really doesn't. Like I teach my boys all the time. Do what you do, but I'm just letting you know my disappointment. If you do one thing, I'm gonna be disappointed. I'm not gonna hate you. I'm not gonna throw you out the well. You ain't welcome, but I'm gonna be disappointed. So
I think that's an appropriate response.
brother, I love y'all, man, and like I tell y'all all the time, I love y'all, man. And you see how chocolate I am, so man, the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice to me
Absolutely.
personally. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't see how brothers get with these people and then be acting like you did something. Acting like you did something. You know what I'm saying? I just don't get it, bro. And it's just me personally, bro. I know a lot of y'all probably not gonna want to take what I gotta say and roll with it, but I just think it's time, you know what I'm saying, for their blood to be spilled now. You know what I'm saying? Because come on,
Be
man.
careful.
Every black man in this world, and every black woman in this world, when they child leave the house, they on stress mode. They on stress mode. Praying, especially if you love your kids, praying, you don't run into that cop that got a chip on the shoulder, or however it might be. You know what I'm saying? And why we the only race that got have to talk with our children? Mexicans don't have to do it. Asians don't have to do it, but we the only ones that got have to talk with our children. So it just. It's funny to me, man. It just really. It's not even funny to me. It's sad. more than anything. It's sad to me, bro, that y'all haven't woke up yet. And you know, I learned this a while back, right? You know why they show y'all Martin Luther King pictures in black and white? It's because they try to make it seem like it was a long time ago when they actually got color pictures of this man.
Yep.
They got color pictures of this man. But they show it to y'all in black and white to make it seem like, oh, it was so long ago. Get over it. You
Yep.
know? So, I mean, and then with the my elder said, I respect her a lot. I mean, for real, because that's just wisdom. That's wisdom on top of wisdom. You know what I'm saying? To me personally, and I'm not gonna keep ranting the raven, but
Mm-hmm.
man, we just need to do something about this. And then, like I said, if y'all wouldn't stay behind with them, y'all spouses and everything else, if we get a chance to leave, and then let's see how they treat y'all once we all gone. Let's see how they gonna treat y'all. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee you, it ain't gonna be equal. It ain't gonna be fun. If we don't get it now, you know. Just like I tell people all the time, right? People always ask me, "Oh, how did you lose your eye? You know how? What happened?" I tell them, what happened to me, with the military and everything, and it's like I didn't go in there because I love the red, white, and blue. I went in there so that way, when it do really kick off, and it's going to kick off, I can train my brothers and my sisters. You know what I'm saying? I can train them on what to do and what to look for. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, spook the sat by the door.
I'm sorry, say it again.
It was a movie too, if I remember right. So
You might need to watch that
yeah.
one. We're gonna
Yeah,
have a
I
movie
mean,
night.
because if y'all not really paying attention and really looking at what's going on in the world society, and I know, brother, you are. I know for a fact you are, because you too smart. You one of the smartest brothers that I have met in a long time. For real, you hella smart, brother.
I
You
say
know what I'm saying?
appreciate that.
Brother Legend, you are smart, and I'm not kissing your butt just to say that. I'm telling you the truth. You a smart brother. You know what I'm
Appreciate that.
saying? And you know it's coming. You know it's coming. They
Yep.
already said it. They already said if Orange lose, you know what I'm saying, that orange fat, looking like an orange fat pumpkin, if he lose, it's gonna be one. And then if the Indian lady, cause she ain't black, if the Indian lady win, it's gonna be one, because they're not gonna want to accept her being over them. So it's gonna be one no matter how you look at it. And then you think about it, America is beefing on two fronts, man. Two fronts. They beefing in the Pacific, and they beefing in the Atlantic. And if you honestly think that they ain't got what we got, y'all sadly mistaken. Y'all sadly mistaken. You know? So I
Oh
just hope
well.
y'all ready for it. That's all I can say. I hope y'all ready. And I hope that we can come together and truly, you know what I'm saying, look out for each other. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying we ain't gotta look out for other people. I'm not saying let's be hateful towards other people, but us need to come first. Our stomachs need to come first. Our children need to come first, not nobody else's.
I
You know
heard
what I'm saying?
that. I
Because
say.
we 500 years ago, since we met these people, what have we been doing? Giving. How much more can we give to these people, man? How much more can we give? 500 years now, we've been giving. Blood, sweat, tears, everything, you know?
All right.
So I'm just saying, I love y'all, but
Yes,
but
sir.
but just we can't keep carrying on the way we carrying on, y'all. We can't. We can't, because we already losing, and it the war just begun, and we don't, you know what I'm saying, We back playing defense instead of playing offense. So I hope a lot of y'all can wake up, you know what I'm saying, and take, especially Brother Legend, because that's one thing. I don't even join this show half of the time. I just sit there, put my earphones on, and watch him. And the stuff he be spit, it be having me like, man, this dude, this is one smart brother for real. This is one smart brother. He need to be teaching an African class or something, like straight up for real.
Hey man, I got my elder up here right now, smart sister, and you know, we just dive into the knowledge, man. I'm just regurgitating what the scholars have said, man. You know, so we don't end up starting from ground zero.
But the way you pitted it, you gotta be an idiot not to understand it.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just being honest with you. You really gotta be some kind of deformity or something in your brain where you can't understand what this man is saying, because he's spinning it in a way where my 12-year-old son can get it. He be watching,
Yep, the
and he
gift, the
can get it.
gab. And that's proof of intelligence when you can break stuff down to a child understanding level. You know, it's easy to use $25 words and be all lofty and everything, but when you can break it down and make it where it's understood by everybody, that is a sign of intelligence. You are absolutely right, brother.
Because my son, he's 12 years old, and I don't make him watch it. I tell him to watch it so he can educate himself. And he'll watch it, and he'll be like, oh, Daddy understood everything he said. And I'll be proud of that, because I'm proud of this man that can break it down for a 12-year-old to understand.
Yeah. That should be our focus.
You know what I'm saying?
Until a black child is born in a world without oppression.
Yeah, for real.
We gotta keep educating the children younger and younger.
Younger and younger, dude. And then we gotta teach our kids, bro, look, these people has been our enemy from the day they met us. And I'm not saying all of them. I'll be a liar. I've never said all white people are bad. I've never said that. But if you ain't checking your uncle that you know that's a racism, then you a part of the problem. You ain't checking your daddy that you know a racism, then you a part of the problem. You know what I'm saying? It's y'all family members, you know what I'm saying, that hate us, but y'all like us, but y'all not checking them and letting them know this ain't gonna be cool, or you gonna be kicked off the family, or you need to straighten your ways up, or you need to do A, B, and C. You know, so man, it just no excuse no more. It just no excuse no more. You know, it's no excuse. And then y'all pushing this agenda where our children is confused on who they are. You know what I'm saying? Just like I told you before. Remember I told you before? Because you wake up, decide to be a cat that day. So I'm supposed to be delusional with you and treat you like a cat. That's just not gonna happen, bro.
Now you understand. You understand, brother. I ain't mad at you, but we can't talk about it too much. But
yeah. I'm gone. I was gonna say thanks for letting me come up. I mean,
yes,
if you don't mind me, stand on and listening.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. One love, brother. Appreciate you.
Man, I appreciate you, brother, more than anything, because like I said, I seen other people trying to copy what you're doing. And that stuff be coming out so whack. I be like,
that's why you the first person to well, you're not the first person to say it, but on the live at least, because I do be seeing a lot of mimicking.
It's whack, don't it?
And then because what I do is I study a lecture or I study a book, and then I create the prompt to guide the discussion into what I'm trying to convey to the people. I don't just put a prompt up here with some questions and then try to just start arguments with white folks all day. I ain't trying to do that. I'm actually trying to relay the message.
Talking about, well, love is love. Love is love. Love is love. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. And you got black dudes saying the same thing. But let that white lady get mad at you and call the cops. And let's see how much love it's going to be in an interaction when they get there. Let's see how much love it's going to be. So, go with that BS, man.
All right, let me go to the next guest. Appreciate you, Anwar. Big up to my brother Anwar for coming up and blessing the live. All right.
What's happening, legend?
Peace, G Wiz. What's going on? Give us your age, race, pronouns if you got 'em.
Well, I'll be 63 Sunday if I get out the way. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, brother.
Yeah, I'll be 63 September the 1st.
All right. And you a black man?
I'm black all day. If I come back again, I'm going to be black.
All right. All right. Talk to us.
And I'm a he.
All right.
Since y'all need the pronouns, I'm he.
Yeah.
First, I want to cover your things on your billboard. Can black and white people benefit from sharing culture? Well, you know, this is just my personal take. I believe, first of all, white people culture is hate and greed and pettiness. And I don't think they believe they are interested in sharing anything. Okay, our marriages between black and white people ethical. All I know is, I came up here before as a different personality, legend, not personality, just a different name. My name was G. Willikers. And the reason why I mentioned that, I was banned because I got into it by a lie that was basically made up. And I'm not putting down black, I'm just telling you what the lie was made up of: black women that hate black men.
Oh yeah, man. You gotta be careful out here, man.
I forgot what the name of it was. I think they got took out too, but I had to come up with a new name, and now I'm G Wiz 2.0. But anyway, Sunday evening, this past Sunday, I was up there, and this might, if you probably don't remember me, but I talked to you before. My big problem is the media. And the media is not honest or decent in any way. I'm talking about even though the so-called liberal media, because you notice they jumped, I'm going to say this real briefly, I'm not going to get into politics, but they jumped all over Biden for being elderly, but they haven't touched, they barely touched Trump about being immoral, a rapist, and a convicted fraudster. They don't touch none of that. But the main problem I have with media, and I said this before, I'm going to say it again until somebody actually hears me, is how they portray black women only as being white men's surrogates or lovers, whatever you want to call it. Every time you see someone on a commercial, a movie, or a TV show, the black woman must have her a white man as her love or romantic interest. You hardly ever see that with black men. I'm not going to say that it never happens, but it's not beat into your visual system, because they saw it every day. And I shared this with some mostly black women, and these women are, I would think, hardcore liberals, because they're for, I did say something, I guess, out of pocket about Kamala. I hope I'm saying her name right, because people jump on you if you don't say Kamala right. But I did have a problem with her marrying a Jay white guy. But I still would vote for him. And then I started talking about what I've just told you about, how the media, be it a television show, a movie, or a commercial, does this. And I'm not going to say any names because some of these women are really popular on the TikTok. But some say they do this for unity as a race. I'm like, how can you do that when they've never done that as far as showing black men and black women together? You know, they even have posters out there of white men raising black female children. You know, I think it was a short-lived ad, but there was actually an advertising with basically a white guy as a little black girl's father figure. And that's something I'm passionate about, because I get tired. I guess I grew up watching TV. So seeing this, I mean, I've never seen it when I was younger. That's part of, I hardly have ever saw some stuff, but now it's this big push to show black women as concubines or lovers of white men. And I mean, if you see a show with a black woman as a lead or any kind of character, 9 times out of 10, her love interest is going to be a white man. And I told them that, they jumped all over me. Why? One woman, and I held my composure, because I know how I am and how I get to say real messed up stuff. And it might have showed weakness. That's the main reason why I didn't say that. She's talking about, she asked me, did your wife or girlfriend leave you for a white guy? That was her take on it. And it just amazed me. That amazed me. She went there. I'm just talking about, as a black man, I mean, a self-loving black man who loves black women. I had a problem with it, and I still got a problem with it. Because there's a plan, there's a message, there's a message in that madness. They're basically saying, no, you don't have to be with no black man. Be with, they basically want, until they get tired of black women, they toss them to the side too. But that's basically all I had to say. But I had shared this with you before, like I said, as another when I was G Willikers. And that just really messed me up though. I'm like, these are liberal black women getting upset, they're up there. I thought you were friendly. I'm like, I am a friendly, but what you're saying, what are you saying? It amazed me that they really thought I was against black women because I have a problem with them being with white men. I'm gonna always have a problem with that. You can call me prehistoric, petty, racist, and I read those badges happily. And that's all I wanted to share with you.
All right, I'll say, yeah. We know that black women are the least likely to marry outside their race, and yet you can name several television shows. You see it all up in commercials where there's either no man.
In movie.
Right, in movies, yup. And you will see the black woman with a white man, yet statistically, black women are least likely to be with white men in real life. So why is it that she gets represented as marrying outside of her race on media, but it's not matching reality because there's an agenda behind it? So, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
I love Angela Bassett. I used to love this little show 911. It's basically an updated version of something I used to see when I was a kid called Emergency. Basically, they're saving people's lives. And there's a paramedic aspect, and then there's a police aspect. And Angela Bassett is a police woman. Now, this would really got me to stop, and I haven't watched any episode. Like I told you, I'm a television fiend. But I stopped watching it because not only did they make her relationship with her black husband and they made him gay, and guess what? She went and got with a white guy that had I think he was a drug addict. He had accidentally let his family die in a fire because he wasn't paying attention to what he was supposed to be doing. But she got with him and now they're living happily ever after. And I'm like, Angela, she's no better than that. She's the executive producer. I'll stop watching that crap, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Keep that propaganda, especially away from the children.
Right. That's what I was just about to say. It don't really matter how it affects me because I don't live my life. But they got little kids that's basically saying,
the kids.
Yes, little girl, it's all right to be with a white guy.
Disney Channel.
Black guys don't exist.
Look at Disney Channel. They had Brandy. He wasn't white, but he was an Asian in the Cinderella movie. That's for little girls. Right. And then they got the Little Mermaid.
Disney has not had a black princess or queen with a black king or prince to this day.
Or they had the princess. They had, I think it was like the Princess Frog or something like that,
Right.
But even in that, she was a frog. She was a frog in the movie more than she was a black woman. They done made her an animal for most of the movie.
Same thing with that Ghost film.
Media Matters.
Yeah, with the brother that it was Jamie Foxx played in it, I think.
Yeah, Soul.
Yep,
yeah.
There we go. Yeah, they had him like a blue orb soul more than they had him as a brother with soul. Like that's
right.
Like why?
And why wasn't his soul black? You know what I'm saying? Why? Right. Yeah. But all right. We got one more guest, y'all. We're gonna bring some. Oh, actually, they gone. All right. I'm about to get out of here.
Oh,
go ahead, bro.
My bad, brother.
Go ahead,
I want people to see the stat real quick. Yeah, because I want everybody to get a very firm visual understanding as to why it is that they push that level of propaganda on a regular basis. They do not want us to be together. And it
Exactly.
clearly shows that they've been actively pushing towards the separation of us for a very, very long
Divide and
time.
conquer.
Yep, divide and conquer.
And
And it
also,
started,
if you don't mind me
like right
saying,
around here, you
brothers,
can see that the marriage rates are doing phenomenal. Black marriage rates are doing great. From the 1800s, going all the way to 1900s, 1910s, 1920s, 1930s, black marriage rates are doing fine. Actually, in some instances, black marriage rates are doing better than white marriage rates. But then all of a sudden, bam, right here, a very strategic set of instances and laws were implemented, essentially for the forced pushing of D-rugs and narcotics into black neighborhoods. And then what they did was they heavily criminalized them. And as soon as they did that, skyrocket. You start seeing the divorce rates or the lack of marriage rates happening skyrocket because a lot of our African family were getting arrested during this time. And now we're living around this time period. And mind you, up here, this is also showing the same thing. Like, okay, black men, marriage rates are showing that they spike in less likelihood of being married and around the exact same time that they put in those laws and implemented that. Same thing with black women, too. So it has nothing to do with us not liking each other or us doing things to each other. It has everything to do with them doing things to us deliberately to keep us divided.
When they let black women finally get welfare, a stipulation was can't be no man in the house.
and also, if y'all don't mind me saying,
Go
too,
ahead.
they
I'm sorry.
pumping this white and black thing on TV more than anything. Like every commercial, you see a brother with a white woman going to buy a mattress or whatever it might be. You know what I'm saying?
Say bang.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever it might be, right? And I'm
Exactly.
gonna keep it real with you. Black marriage is still alive. I've been married 25 years. In December, it be going on 26.
Hey, Ashe, we love that,
Congratulations,
man.
man.
Congratulations.
Because I didn't play them games, bro. When I was a kid, I didn't play them games. The other brothers wanted to dibble and dabble with them. I didn't. Because I know,
God bless you.
because I knew the trouble that can come behind that if she get mad at you.
Right.
I knew the
Right.
trouble that can come behind that. You know what I'm saying? When they get mad at you. So I said, nah, I'm not gonna play this game. Y'all can do it, but I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? I'm standing over here with my queens, bro. You know. And then I feel like this. A lot of brothers that come on be like, oh, well, black women got attitudes, black women got this. Nah, brother, you just ain't got no game to control your woman. That's all that is. You ain't got no game to control your woman, bro.
That's part of the reason
I
why they
mean,
date like that.
every relationship get into an argument. But as you being the king of the house, the final say so should be with you. Period. Point blank. And I'm not saying, and nowhere near, and I'm dismissing. I mean, degrading.
I'm about to say, because for me, you right. Like when it comes to certain things, my wife no, but when I'm sick, when something going on with me, and she tell me no, you taking the day off, you going you know what I'm saying? Like certain things,
That's that nurturing.
I better listen to her, or she gonna get in my ass.
Because she gonna get on you. That's the same with mine. I know when I'm wrong, I don't get
Right.
up and shut up and put my head down like, yes, ma'am, no,
Like
ma'am.
woman gonna let you know.
Yep, for real.
Because she take you seriously, and she take your health seriously. She take y'all being able to thrive together seriously.
Brother, you know I got the military, right? I lost my eye, right? And then in the same Humvee that we was in when I lost my eye, it got blown up, right? So literally, I was messed up. When I say messed up, bro, I can download the pictures. You would see me in the hospital bed, I was messed up, right? I had to literally crawl back to the green zone. Crawl back to the green zone, praying,
That's crazy, man.
praying to the Heavenly Father. Please don't let these people run up on me. Please don't let these people see me. You know what I'm saying? I can't run. I can't do none of that. Only thing I can do is just play like a rock. You know what I'm saying? I'm like rocks and play like a rock, bro. You know what I'm saying? But what did my wife do? Before I even knew it, she was on her first plane to Germany. You know what I'm saying? I woke up, who I see? My mama,
Wow.
wife, you know what I'm saying? My sister, I see all of them at my hospital bed. Nah,
Wow.
you ain't dying today, baby.
Mm-hmm.
God
Yep.
ain't finished with you. You
Blessings
ain't
to all
dying
y'all. I'm
today,
about to
baby.
drop though.
I heard
Blessings to
that.
both y'all, okay? And to
Blessings,
everybody
blessings.
on the panel. Take it easy.
Yes, sir. I say, brother, one love. And brother Anwar, man, that's a beautiful story, man. One thing about black women, she gonna be by your side. And a lot of people have turned that and said, "Oh, why do you want us there during the struggle, love, and all that?" Man, listen, we struggle together,
You've been
and
struggling together for 500 years.
mm-hmm,
So why should we change it now? Because we get a little bit of freedom.
yeah,
And
mm-hmm,
freedom ain't free
Well, that's
because you
just the
still can't
plan.
walk down the street without getting harassed. You still can't go in a store without getting followed. So that's not freedom to me, bro.
mm-hmm,
What
absolutely,
part of freedom do we have?
mm-hmm,
You know, I don't even smoke marijuana. You know how many times a police will put me over, I smell marijuana? Man, yeah, I
he done that to me
ain't.
too. Yep.
I don't even smoke marijuana, bro. Get up out of here with that lie. Oh, we want to search your car. Search it. You ain't gonna find nothing. All you gonna do is find weapons that I'm saving for y'all. That's it. And they all registered. Now what?
Mm-hmm. Well, y'all, I gotta go. I got work to do for the people, man. I
Okay,
appreciate
bro.
y'all coming up here, and
Hey, brother Legend, man. I'm serious as hell, bro. I love you, bro.
I love you
I
too,
love
man.
you. And when a war jump off, bro, I hope to God we can be in the same camp, bro. Because
Absolutely.
I know with your knowledge and then my knowledge combat, we're gonna be
Mm-hmm.
unstoppable, bro. I know
We sure are.
for a fact we'll be unstoppable, bro. They'll be scared to come looking for us. You know what I'm saying? They're
Yeah.
gonna be scared to come looking for us, bro. I promise you that. And
Absolutely,
I tell you
man.
that. I tell you that from my heart, bro. Because I have my sons watch you. Because I be telling my sons, listen to what the man is saying. Listen to her. Listen to her. I'm probably gonna pronounce it wrong, but listen to how articulate this man
Mm-hmm.
did stuff. You know what I'm saying? And he ain't shooting nobody down. He ain't clowning. He ain't cussing. He ain't doing none of that. He just put
Mm-hmm.
them in a place where they got no answers for it.
Yeah, that's right. That's the point. Yep.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? That's
Mm-hmm.
all. You
Yep.
know,
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate your support, man, and I wish the
you
young
always got
kings
my
peace and
support, brother.
protection, man.
You always got my
Absolutely.
support, brother. Because when I say my prayers at night, I pray for you every night. Father, please keep your angels of protection around this man. Because, I mean, he might not be the leader of the black community, but the way that he going to be the leader.
I say. We gonna keep working. We gonna keep building. I have a lot more to do, and I'm about to go do some of that now, man. I got a meeting with B1
Okay.
Initiative, the brothers and sisters in there, and I appreciate you, man, and I hope everybody continues to support Sankofapedia. Is coming soon.
Yeah.
Coming soon. We're building Sankofapedia. This is a
I'm gonna be on there, so.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a very powerful website. Like it's not just gonna be like Wikipedia. It's gonna be way different. We're gonna have statistics. We're gonna have everything you need when you out and about. You know, you got to tell somebody about themselves. You got to show somebody some facts, from black people.
Yeah.
Then it's gonna be on that website. You want to show them some history. You
Yeah.
want to teach. You know, it's all gonna be on that one website. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, and a lot of these brothers don't understand. Almost 70% of things we use in America has been created by black people.
Absolutely.
Literally has been created by black people. When that white boy said GPS wasn't created by black woman, the black
He
woman
lying.
who created it is still alive. You
She's
know,
still
she's still alive, bro.
right. Yeah, absolutely, man. We created breathing, man. They owe us for everything.
Man, don't they?
Uh-huh.
For real.
All
And
right,
then I
y'all.
say, and I just want to say this one point, that they're the majority. Nah, y'all fudge y'all numbers so much that y'all can't be the majority because y'all fudge y'all numbers constantly. You look on a Latino application and they got that white features, oh, they white. You know what I'm saying? So y'all fudge y'all numbers too much for y'all to be the majority. Man, y'all are less. Everybody in the world, y'all numbers are less than everybody, including the Asians, including the blacks, even including island people. You know what I'm saying? Y'all numbers are less, man. So let's keep it real with each other, bro. Quit lying to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Quit lying, bro.
All right, y'all. I gotta go, man.
Go. Do your
Black
thing,
Power.
brother. I
I'm gonna
love you.
talk
Thank
to
you for
y'all
letting me
next
come
time.
up, my brother.
Yes,
I
sir.
love you. Peace and love.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Always, forever. If you need anything from me, you know how to hit me up. And believe me,
Yes, sir.
if it's in my power, I'm there for you.
We
I
doing
don't
it.
care what it is.
All right. One love. Peace.
All right.